Chi-Town, get up. Yes, sir. All right, y'all. I guess that's time to start up the whole shebang. So let's get it going. Hey, Karen, can we get the music, please, Karen? That's how it go.
The Self Love Show, giving you more than vitamins and minerals. Food for your soul, information and plans integral to making your mind grow. With more growth and development, BS is irrelevant to the intelligent. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is what we represent. It's the Self Love Show, the Self Love Show, the Self Love Show. We do it for our people. The Self Love Show, it's the Self Love Show, it's the Self Love Show. To expose their equals. The Self Love Show, the Self Love Show, the Self Love Show. Wordsmith 9 nails. The Self Love Show, the Self Love Show. You know how the story goes. It's the Self Love Show.
That it is. We got a great one lined up tonight. Before we start this pod, the views expressed today are those of the host, guests, and are not necessarily reflective of TATN or any affiliates. Welcome to another enriching episode of the Self Love Show. Thank you, Karen. On this Ain't That Network, or as we say, TATN. This is a spot where we dive deep into the intersections of mind, body, spirit, and culture. This is one of the co-hosts, and I am Millie. All praise to the ancestors, the Most High, and my late and beloved Mama Sky. Big ups. Today, we delve into a topic that is as profound as it is urgent. The intersection of storytelling, social justice, and human consciousness. This show has pivoted a bit. So we're honored to spotlight the film Breathe, a poignant narrative inspired by the life and tragic loss of Eric Garner. Say his name, or maybe type it into the chat. This episode promises a reflective journey into the art of storytelling as a tool of change, offering insight into how the creative medium of film can amplify voices and ignite movements. Joining us is the incredibly brilliant producer, Jamie Burton Oare, whose work on Breathe is a testament to the power of Black filmmakers to channel pain into purpose. We'll explore her artistic vision and the challenges copper-colored creators face in telling stories that resonate universally while staying rooted in their communities. Her insights are sure to inspire not only filmmakers, but anyone seeking to use their craft to create a ripple effect throughout the world. But we won't stop there. This conversation extends beyond just filmmaking and invites us to contemplate human consciousness itself. These are conversations we really should be having with one another while we're here. What does it mean to truly witness one another's struggles, to breathe through collective grief, and to emerge with renewed clarity? I've often said there are no losses unless you don't learn. Jamie will help us unpack these deeper layers, bridging the worlds of art, social justice, and spirituality in a way that is both heartfelt and transformative. So settle in as we explore how creativity and consciousness intersect in the pursuit of justice and healing. Whether you're a film enthusiast, a seeker of social change, or someone curious about the ways we connect as humanity, this episode is surely for you. Let's dive in and stop waiting to exhale so we can all breathe together. So whip out your self-love vision and your 10 hats. This is the Self Love Show, and this is the revolution. And the revolution will not be on YouTube, however. These are lessons, not lecture. We're live and in living color. Today is Tuesday, April 29, 2025 at about 7:07 in the holy Mecca. That's going to be Chicago. And as always, you cats can be anywhere in this magnanimous universe, but thankfully, we all chose to be here together That's right. Magnanimous. Here. Oh, yeah. Together. What's going on there, fella? Karen, can you make him the co-host? What's going on here, Jim?
Man, you know me, man. I'm manifesting love over here. You know how we do. You manifest.
Ditto, good brother. Ditto, good brother. Pure, magnificent, unfiltered, unfettered. Some say tough, some say harsh, but I can assure you it's self-love just the same.
No doubt, no doubt.
Hey, what's been going on in your part of America since we last hooked up?
You know, Mother Nature's doing that mother thing and weather up and down. And y'all stop shooting. Put them blickies up. I don't care that it's 83 degrees yesterday. Stop it.
Somebody's manufacturing the blicks and selling the blicks. And what do you think this? You think they're going hunting? What do you think they're buying these things for?
I'm not even sure if they're buying them because, I remember back in the day that crates of weapons could be found in the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's their right, to defend themselves according to the Constitution of the United States. I feel like I'm in agreement with you, but I just want to be clear here.
Well,
right,
defending yourself is one thing, but in those cases,
yeah.
Somebody's not defending themselves. It's somebody doing the committing, and then there's somebody doing the defending.
You got to zoom out. Mutual combatants. A lot of times it's a pendulum, but I agree. Stop that momentum and let's butterfly effect that in a more positive way. What to expect on today's The Self Love Show? We always kick it off with the quote of the day, and then we have our a short video we run. It's less than a minute. That's the Moor Growth and Development. That's MOOR G&D platform. Okay. That's what we stand upon. And then we're going to react to another video du jour. This brother and our guest is slotted to pop up at about 7:25 in the Windy City time. So y'all stand by for that. Today's topic is breathe. Everybody. I expect we're all not breathing correctly. There's a bigger message. If you zoom out, Breathe, a film on Eric Garner. We're honored to have producer Jamie Burton Oare in the building. This is about the copper-colored filmmakers and our human consciousness. So go ahead and hit that like button, share it. We're going to have some fun. We got great questions lined up for this young lady. So we're really looking forward to this. And then we wrap it up with my personal favorite part of the whole shebang, and that's where Brother Wordsmith's going to tie everything up, into a little bun, metaphysical bun, like he's going to a cotillion, like he's going to get escorted in there by one of the debutantes.
Hold on now, don't go too far.
But no, he's gonna drop some jewels. He's gonna summarize this entire pod today. Do stick around for that because it's my favorite part of the whole shebang. He pulls it from the ether and puts it back into the ether. Okay, essentially what's happening out there. All right, y'all. Any thespians out there? Any filmmakers? Any writers? How about anyone's ever been brutalized by 12? And what I mean by 12 is the pigs. And what I mean by the pigs is the oath breakers. Do we support non-oath breaking law enforcement, Brother Wordsmith?
Not at all.
You don't support the non-oath breakers?
Oh, non-oath breaker. I thought you said the oath breaker, bro.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. They're doing their job like they're supposed to.
Yeah, we've had multiple people come on this show and say they don't trust any of them. Okay.
Yeah, I can't say I trust them if they're pulling up, I mean. You don't know which one you're getting, you know what I'm saying?
Just don't know. They're all dressed in the same pig suit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. They all want control. Hey, I'm just, officer safety. What about citizen safety? You got yours, I got mine. You know what I mean?
And yeah, you serve us. You don't, service us. You serve us and don't protect the businesses and the owners and corporations, motherfucker.
Yeah, proper time. Proper time. All right, y'all, but enough of my yapping. I'm going to turn it over to this brother to handle his business.
Yes, y'all. It don't stop. Self Love Show rocks on. Today, we are unpacking powerful piece. It's excellent. Can't wait to get into this conversation. As always, we have very important video. The Silverback Moor Growth and Development platform, which we're building a Self-Love Nation off of. And before that, we have Self Love Show quote of the day. I can't breathe. Again. I can't breathe. Eric Garner.
Rest up, my man. Rest up.
Rest up. Man, that was tragic.
Moor Growth and Development platform. Number one.
Having trouble with the volume, Karen.
Shit. Yep.
All right, y'all. Big ups to the sponsors, y'all. We got Midwest Festivals presenting Ancestral Echoes. We got big ups to Tay Mills Aesthetics. If you're ever out here on the coast, you're out here on vacation, or you might live out here. Multicultural skin, body, and weight loss pros. Well, 213-290-4152. And you got Bella B Designs. You might need some swag out there. You know what I mean? The personalized t-shirt. You know what I mean? That's Bella B Designs 365@gmail.com. And finally, last but not least, Gym Recovery. Gym Recovery, you might be in the greater Chicago area and you need your whip towed. Google it, find Gym Recovery, and tell them the Self Love Show sent you.
Silverback Moor Growth and Development platform. Number one, repair our nation via reparations. We demand our silver back. Number two, to connect our breadwinners with our activists. And three, show an accurate depiction of African American Chi-Town. 4, to shine a light on positive influences. 5, heal our community one person at a time. 6, to provide an unfiltered platform for our influencers. 7, recycle the black dollar. 8, to provide mentors for the mentorless. 9, to close the gap between us and our pink kinsmen.
We're closing the gap. We're closing the gap.
And 10, protect our men, women, and children by any and all means necessary.
That part.
Not necessarily in that order.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a superposition. All right, you guys. If you missed last week's show, ladies and gentlemen, it's always still up. You don't have to watch it when it's live. You can matriculate. We covered Ink, Think, Song, and Act, Community, and Consciousness with Emmy Award winner, Chicago born, Relion.
Absolutely, man, fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous. That was, man, so much information and amazing brother. Extremely talented.
Yeah, he's tapped into something. He's definitely tapped into something. Yeah, I enjoyed it. All right, y'all. We got a poll question up. The latest poll question is up. Brother Wordsmith and I will let you know towards the end of the show which one of these we selected. It's simple. Grade the Chicago Bears offseason moves. Simple. It's lighter than normal. Your first option is an A. Second option is a B. B is in beta. Third option is a C. And fourth is other. I mean, you can drop a comment in there. And, you know what I mean?
Oh, there's no rubbing the fence on the bum this week.
Yeah, it's 2 straight weeks and no space for that. You know what I mean? I've been meaning to write YouTube and say, you need another slot I'm trying to add. You know what I mean? It should be a default option where you just always have that on all your polls. Speaking of that, bro, there's another poll we did that was kind of heating up. Why did Shedeur Sanders' draft stock slide? Myself and Ace, we went with NFL's history of devaluing the quarterback, right? And at that time, it was leading vote. Right now, that's at 17%.
Whoa.
Drafts are talent-based, meaning arm strength, speed, your measurables. You know what I mean? Did you come to the slave camp and let them, look at your measurables? 17%, right? Prime time, the father, Archie Manning, your I don't know. We can go on and on with this. LeVar Ball, the father, prime time, the Hall of Famer, the best to ever do it. 28% are blaming the dad, for keeping them out of trouble, keeping them out of drugs. You know what I mean? Letting them
Coaching him.
Yeah, letting them walk with his head up high like a king. And then 40%, 39% said it's due to his cocky arrogance. I'm blown away by the results. Well, I mean, come on, it's the Self Love Nation. It can't be stupid.
Well,
but ignorant, maybe?
No, I think that's stupidity.
We'll go with stupidity.
Ignorant means you don't know better, and I think these people should know better.
Yeah, well.
That's just my opinion, so it's a humble one.
He was cocky, but Johnny Manziel was cocky, and he was on drugs, and his parents were rich, and the NFL knew all of that.
Well, I mean, he completed 74% of his passes, and had a bunch of touchdowns, and we had played with a great receiver, and not so great a line, but I mean, he did some good work. And he's from a very, 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 very confident man. He lives in a very confident family.
Yeah.
Is it cocky or confident? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. All right, y'all. Let's push on. And big ups to the Sanders family. I wish him well. I got 99 problems. Shedeur Sanders is definitely not one, but yet I wish him well.
No doubt.
All right, y'all. Breathe, a film on Eric Garner with producer Jamie Burton Oare, Black filmmakers and human consciousness. That's what we're going to be unpacking here. Our guest will be in the building shortly, chilling in the cream room until her introduction. Bro, did you see Weezer's Better? It's KTLA. Better Half. Weezer's Better Half.
Oh, I still have no idea what your creative
You never heard of Weezer? It's a rock band. I don't know. Yeah. No? Come on, your days in Champaign, you weren't out there, standing on the tables.
Not with Weezer playing. If it was Weezer playing, I was just looking, observing people dancing on the table till it breaks.
Fair use, yeah.
Drop the gun! You're gonna get shot!
Now at 11, dramatic new body cam footage of the confrontation between police officers and the wife of a rock star that ended in a shootout and an arrest. Good evening, I'm Micah Ullman.
And I'm Cher Calvin. It started as a search for 3 hit-and-run suspects in Eagle Rock, but it ended in an armed standoff between police and the wife of a Weezer band member.
That confrontation ended in gunfire, and tonight we are seeing the first body cam images from the scene. While officers were searching backyards looking for the suspects, they say Jillian Schreiner, the wife of bassist Scott Schreiner, emerged from her home armed with a gun.
Schreiner was ordered repeatedly to drop the weapon, but instead police say she pointed it at officers and opened fire. KTLA's Rachel Menitoff is live in Eagle Rock with more on what happened next. Rachel?
They didn't fear for their life?
Sure, Micah, we're getting a new look at what happened in this neighborhood from the perspective of the LAPD officers on scene. The department tells us its board is looking at this evidence and will determine whether its officers' tactics and use of deadly
they can have
force
a robot
complies
doing
with
what
its
she's
policies.
doing real soon.
Drop the gun! You're gonna get shot!
Tense moments captured on police body camera footage show the moment before an Eagle Rock woman was shot by LAPD officers who were in search of several pursuit suspects.
shot her.
On April 8th,
Okay.
California Highway Patrol responded to a hit-and-run crash
Just not
in
a
which
million
three
times.
men ditched their smashed cars, ran off the 134 freeway and into an unsuspecting homeowner's yard in the vicinity of
They're
Eagle
chasing some
Vista
Pookies and
Drive.
some Ray Ray.
Hey, hold it for me. We got eyes on the suspect.
As officers searched for those suspects, 51-year-old Jillian Schreiner emerged from her home armed
Karen.
with a gun. She's the wife of Scott Schreiner, the
Karen.
bassist in the popular rock band Weezer. She's also a best-selling author herself.
You're gonna get shot! You're getting shot! It's the police! Drop the gun!
Officers called to Schreiner from behind this wooden fence to drop her weapon. At this point, it's possible officers believed Schreiner was connected to the nearby hit and run. But it takes them more than a minute to identify that they are indeed with law enforcement. Security video from inside Schreiner's backyard shows her racking a 9mm handgun and allegedly pointing it at a group of officers. LAPD contends she shot in their direction. That's when they return 8 shots, hitting Schreiner twice in the shoulder before she retreats into her home.
Oh, there were 3 men. She says there were 3 men, and one of them shot her, and the cops are looking for him right now.
A 911 call
Oh my
revealed
God.
Schreiner believed she was defending herself
Yeah.
against the very suspects
Yeah.
with whom police were searching.
And they
An
thought she
hour
was
after the
Pookie and Ray
shooting,
Ray.
the rocker's wife exited her home with her hands up and was taken away in handcuffs. She was later booked on suspicion of attempted murder of a peace
Yeah.
officer. The LAPD ultimately arrested one of the 3 hit-and-run suspects. The other 2 were never found.
That day, it was kind of a disruption to the norm.
Iona Pay says the swarm of police and media is completely out of the norm for this quiet, family-centered neighborhood.
But I can imagine someone that lives here is really not prepared to have a suspect running through their yard with a gun and likely would, feel that their privacy and their home was being invaded. So I can understand the reaction.
But somebody in South Central is prepared for that.
I'm just glad that, no one got hurt in the
what she
altercation and
means?
everyone is
Nobody got
okay
hurt.
from the homeowner's perspective.
She's just talking.
My goodness.
And the Shriners haven't.
She got shot.
Yeah. So yeah, her lawyer was saying that, and I hope she gets well. She thought 12. She came out of her house with the stick because she's watching the police chase on the news, and she thought 12 may have been the guys that 12 was looking for because they didn't announce it. I don't know what she was tweaking, allegedly, in my opinion, but she came out there with that thumper, and so they both are fearing for their lives. This is just the universe. When I say zoom out, you know how 12 works with those Karens, and these Karens got to get those Pookies and Ray Rays. But then look what happened.
She's in her fucking yard, though. And they're behind a fence and still identify themselves.
But they were in uniform.
That fence that I saw on the body cam, and it wasn't see-through.
No, I get your point, but my point is, why would you come out of your house? You're watching a police chase on the news with your gun to defend your property. Why would you do that?
I wouldn't defend my property. Where did they find him? What did they find the dude? Was he in her yard?
No.
Oh, my
she was coming out there being a Karen. What I'm saying is in your yard or not, you gotta stay in the house, people. Put your gun to your arm and stay in the house, and then that way secure your domicile. And if somebody tries to come in, then okay, you kill them, but you don't run out there and put yourself in harm's way, bro, like a Karen. At least I wouldn't.
And raise your gun at people behind the fence that you can't see. You don't know who they are. And
typical Karen activity.
Yeah, and she got it.
Yeah, she got it. All right. All right, y'all. Breathe. The film on Eric Garner with producer Jamie Burton Oare. I wonder if she's related to my boy Phil Burton. Black filmmakers and human consciousness. All right. Karen, we have the trailer from Breathe. If you can run that. And then
This which is up is Ice Cube.
Go to the next one.
Okay. Yep, that would be. All right.
Please like, share, subscribe, y'all.
Yes, y'all.
Can you send us link? Okay.
It's all lining up.
I can't argue with that. Next week.
I said, well, let me pick the most creative aspect of business, which was marketing. And then I just took extra classes for theater on top of that.
Loose squads?
Hey, man, you got smoke.
Loose squads?
Look, you don't got to keep calling the cops on me. I'll be working again soon.
Oh, wow.
We go.
Wow.
Loose squad?
No, I didn't. What I did was I broke up a fight. That's what y'all are harassing me for, a Lucy?
I remember, being in my theater classes and walking across campus. I can go to this moment very vividly, alone, going towards the School of Business, and it seemed like it was in the evening. And I recall having a conversation with God, basically saying, I know I want to go pursue theater full time. And the conversation kind of went like this: is my pursuit vain?
She's produced a lot of stuff, but that's the latest. It's going to be a short, the short film about Eric Garner.
No doubt. That's dope.
Yeah, bro. So that's what we're working on for next week.
Awesome. Amazing.
And then Sunday, as always, we got Spotty Tricks. How do you think the vibrations and harmonics of a guitar?
Yes, y'all. I would like. Is it time? It's time. It's time to welcome.
She hasn't popped in yet, bro.
That's what I was looking at.
All right, y'all. So, but it ain't time yet.
She's here now.
I see. Go ahead and run the promo video, and then we'll tell you why we do it. And then as she's getting set up. Hey, give us a minute here, Jamie. And harmonics of the guitar influence our inner emotional landscape and alter our state of consciousness. So you think of yourself as you're one with the earth. So if I'm playing an acoustic guitar part like the trees, so what it's gonna do for me and the trees, it's gonna release. I don't know what's releasing. It's something like. Karen, what are we doing here?
Oh shit.
All right, never mind. Hey, go ahead and introduce her. What's up, Jamie?
Welcome.
What's up?
Welcome. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you so much. I really enjoyed the film, that's for sure.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Because it would have been messed up if you didn't.
Been shade tree over here.
Hey, what's going on? Jamie, are you related to a Philip Burton?
So interestingly enough, I'm related to a Phil Gaines on my Burton side, but not
a Phil Burton
that I'm aware of.
Oh, okay.
But my mama say we never know, because apparently I had a lost uncle who went somewhere and never came back. So we might have some family in the Shy too.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it might be, could very well be. Shit.
It could be.
And Jamie, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. We really, really appreciate you doing that.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. And you guys, there's a riddle. It's I'll drop it in the chat. I tell stories through a lens of struggles, triumphs, and amends. From history's pain to future's bright, my work sheds truth and sparks the fight. Who am I? I'm gonna drop that in the chat. Give y'all a chance to matriculate on that, and we'll see if we can break that down. So, Jamie, the reason we do this show is this brother and I, we've been having some powerful conversations our entire life. And it's not a debate format. This is your show, your voice. So, just unpack it. Literally, we're doing it for guys like George Floyd. We say that every show. We're copper colored first, right? We love everyone, but we're copper colored first. And then our Moor Growth and Development platform is what we stand on. We're here basically to break down our history as opposed to his story, kind of like maybe what you're doing, from your point of view with the filmmaking. And we're here finally to leave a message for the progeny, those who come behind us, who probably came before us and who are just coming back. But that's a whole nother conversation for another day.
I overstand.
All right, cool. All right, y'all. So that's what we on. So Jamie, I want to hop right to it. Can you tell the Self Love Nation where you were born and raised at?
So I was actually born in San Francisco, California. Left when I was 2. So those of you who are watching, and for those who have vision impairment, I'm wearing a Flint Town sweatshirt because I grew up in Flint, Michigan, from age 2 until, and I represent my city real tough.
Flint, Michigan, y'all, and I'm gonna make the t-shirt, don't drink the water. You know what I'm saying? Flint, Michigan, don't drink the water.
I won't comment on that.
How did
make a film about it?
Yeah,
If
it'd
you
be a
haven't
nice little
already.
title for the documentary. All right, how did this experience in Flint per se help shape you grow into the person that you become? Because I know you said you rep that and you ain't ashamed of it.
So I grew up in a really beautiful place. I didn't really know it at the time because the grass always looks greener on the other side. But I grew up in a really beautiful community. I'm still family with my neighbors. To this day, we still own our family home in Flint. I just came back from Flint screening Breathe. It was a full circle moment for me because we started in Detroit on our initial film festival tour, went around the world, mostly the nation, and we ended in my city. And my city brought me home, the Flint Public Library. Gloria Coles, named after a Black woman. A sister that runs it, Talia, is incredible. She's not originally from Flint, but she honors and values Flintstones. So she initiated the bring back so I could screen Breathe in my library that I grew up in. So when I was there, it was packed out, a good turnout. My family came deep. Friends from elementary school, friends from middle school, friends from high school, our local and national and international celebrities came. Our Mayor Neely, came and surprised me and introduced me. I didn't know he was going to do that. Melvin Riley from Ready for the World, the lead singer, showed up and showed out. My friend, my neighborhood friend, David Hornaday, known as Daylo, the producer from Top Authority, came. Dwayne Adway, a friend of mine from Saginaw, who's also an actor. He played Dennis Rodman in the Rodman movie. He came down. My friend Damon fire chief in Detroit came down, like, and all my Flintstones were there, and I felt the love. It was such a beautiful Q&A, super smart questions. We went on a very long time, and that is a representation of where I come from and the type of support we provide for one another, even when we've had challenges in our city.
That's what's up. You muted, bro. We have
hold up. Is Magic Johnson from there?
He's from Lansing.
Lansing, that's
right.
right.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We still claim him as, home.
Yeah.
Our home man.
How close is Lansing to Flint?
45 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's there. Yeah.
It's like Flint, 50 minutes south is Detroit, and the triangle over here is Lansing. Ann Arbor, Grand Rapids is that way. Chicago's over this way. So all of us that's right here in that little palm area, it's pretty tight. Yeah.
That's what's up. I've been to Detroit a few times. I think I went to Flint. We was doing tech work for a play.
Nice.
Actually. Which of the following would you prioritize to heal our culture? Spirituality, mindfulness, education, health, or capitalization?
You said which of the following?
Yes. Would you prioritize?
One choice?
First.
Yes.
Yeah.
The first one.
So the first thing that comes up instinctively is spirituality. But in order to hear from the Creator, from our God, from our source, you've got to have mindfulness. So I'm kind of letting that, vacillate in my mind right now.
Yeah, that's like a yin and a yang.
Yeah.
Can you do one without the other? Can you really truly be spiritual without
mindfulness?
I don't
you
see
can
how
you can you can
Yeah,
there's people in the world who've got that.
There's atheists that have that, and they don't have any spirituality, and they act as good people.
Yeah, but we're talking about spirituality with mindfulness.
Without
they can have mindfulness without spirituality.
You can have mindfulness without spirituality. Right. Can you have spirituality without mindfulness?
That was the question you had, right?
I don't know, because we didn't call it mindfulness, but it was still mindfulness when you got into a zone, when you walked down the street, when you went and listened to your music and cultivated a space. And then, that's a good question.
Yes.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
You know what I would say? You can't put limits on spirituality, so I would default there and say, if I have to choose, spirituality first.
I believe everyone we've asked that question to has gone with that.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah. But it's. I hear you.
And it's something. Can you unpack reparations in your mind? What it looks like, or how you feel about it?
I've been pro reparations since I learned the word. Like, I was at Howard University. That's my alma mater, where I was introduced. Actually, I was introduced to the concept through my mother's best friend, rest in peace, Virginia Edwards, who spoke Malcolm's words into me as a young person, who spoke Dr. King's words, who spoke all our ancestors' words and great Black leaders' words. And then when I got to Howard University and got deep into our history even further than what I had already started, I got involved with reparations. So, of course, it starts with the 40 acres and a mule, which, represents to me land, farming, our food supply, which has been hijacked. Um, and at this point, financial representation of reparations is at the top of my list, you know. Um, there's studies that have been initiated to kind of figure out how much we're owed. The one they did in California from the gate was BS to me. With Newsom, that was just, you know, I know. I think they did. I saw something in. I think it was in maybe North Carolina. It was one of the Carolinas first. I think it was out there. It was like a little like a city push for how they would deal with reparations. And then I saw some in Illinois.
Evanston,
yeah.
Evanston, yeah. And then California, this seems like somebody tipped the governor or something and was like, yo, jump on this. So he got in front of what was already happening. I have friends that's a part of that movement and that's deep into it now. But and just jumped on it and said, oh, we're going to do a study. But whereas Evanston, they were trying to quantify it, right? And in California, it started with a conversation that quantified it. They were talking about a couple $100,000 in home ownership money. They were talking numbers, and then it switched to, oh, we need to do a study. I was like, yeah, miss me with all that. And of course, it didn't do what it was supposed to do. But yeah, I envision, us getting our pay. I mean, really, I'm a mathematician, so calculate, go back to the years, the documents, the people, our ancestors who were here, those of us who are traced to this land that can show some evidence of it. I have evidence for my family and, calculate what the wages would have been at that time with inflation over the years per day, per hour, per ship. You can calculate.
Interest too?
Absolutely.
Of course. Because the money would, it would have been in a bank because they wouldn't take your money for a house. So it would have been stored somewhere, right? But even, I feel like those calculations are available to us. It's not so far out, that it can't be done. So let's get busy with the doing,
Figure it out.
Yeah, two things. The Noop, James Thomas, he was part of the committee. And when it went to, they didn't even vote on it in California. They decided not to even bring it to a vote, which was like a spitting in our face. And I see reparations. It could be the most righteous, healing economy sparker in the history of mankind. And and people say, we're going to spend all the money. Some of us will, many of us will, right? But still, we should be making a whole lot of money. Like, just give me my money, cut the crap, cut the check. Is what I say.
They showed me during COVID when they were handing out money that
Boom.
you can't say you don't have the money. Period. That's not no longer an excuse at all.
Yeah.
No.
All right. So breathe. Tackle such a profound and sensitive topic. What were some of the key moments or experiences in your filmmaking journey that shaped your approach to creating an impactful narrative like this one?
So first and foremost, my goal was to humanize Eric Garner. Not for us, but for those who need it. And for some of us, unfortunately, that get swept up in the media and their definition of who Black men are. So Eric Garner was a horticulturalist, right? So the city of New York has these incredible programs where you can go become a park ranger, different things, and those positions pay a lot of money. So Eric Garner became a horticulturalist, and so I wanted to highlight that. That was not mentioned anywhere. I found it deep in my research, and I was like, I'm showing this. So I will say this for those who have yet to see the film, there is a nice amount of screen time devoted to showing his relationship to plants, which is very, very deliberate. And it's a good juxtaposition of his image. He's very tall brother, 6'7". I forget his exact weight. But he was known in the neighborhood as a gentle giant, you know, and we understand that, Black folks, we understand that. But it's a lot of people who don't understand that concept. He is, big, tall, chocolate brother, automatic, you don't wear suits every day. It equates to some type of villain.
Ex-convict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case. So that was like that was very that the image of him in plants was very vivid in my mind. Um Also, when I wrote this, it was right after it happened, and it was, Mike Brown was also killed, murdered. And I started my last semester of graduate school for screenwriting, and I had to take a short film class. And I had already done a feature. I didn't want to write a short film. I was like, but I had to. And this story just came through me, to me. And my professor, which is a white woman, she's, really brilliant lady. At the end of the class, we had to have readings and things like that. And she pulled me away from everybody, personally alone, and was like, you got to make this, you know. I said, oh, I plan to. Everything I'm doing, even though I didn't want to do a short, once I cranked it out, it was done. I'm like, oh, I'll shoot this. And I wanted to create a world where people would have to see a human response to bullying from people who called themselves police officers, and are supposed to be peace officers. And what would that response look like, from a man who is a Black man? Because if he was not a Black man, or if he was a white man, it would look normal. They argue with the police all day, they get it, they get to most of them, not necessarily the super impoverished ones. But the typical average white man, his relationship to the police is not described the same way ours is.
Yeah, theirs is the police are subservient to them. Brother Wordsmith kind of mentioned that earlier when we were talking before you came up. Uh, no matter how old that white male is, the police are subservient to them. So it's the slave owner, the overseer, and then it's everybody else. That's how this whole thing was structured. So as a Black filmmaker, so-called Black, we like copper colored around here.
I like
How do
that.
how do you navigate the challenges of staying true to your vision while addressing societal expectations and honoring the stories you aim to tell? Like you mentioned, your professor happens to be, white, and, we've all got white friends and some family members. It's such a tether here in America. Yeah. Yeah. So how do you manage that?
Can you repeat the first part of the question?
Absolutely. As a Black filmmaker or copper colored filmmaker, how do you navigate the challenges of staying true to your vision while addressing societal expectations and honoring the stories you aim to tell?
I really don't. I really don't deal with societal expectations. I consider myself an artist, and I give myself license to express how I see a thing. If others see it, cool, that would be great. But sometimes I'm aiming to introduce a visual thought to others, because I haven't heard people speak a certain way, or I haven't seen something presented a certain way. So I really, I'm aware of societal expectations. In this case, I was dealing with a real life person who, lived, breathed, has a family. So I wanted to honor the family and show respect. So I did find and connect with Emerald Garner, which is Eric's daughter. And she's been beautiful and amazing from day one. And I was able to approach her and talk to her about what I was doing. And she wanted to read the script and she approved it, right away. Initially, I was trying to make this film with some funds that came from a John Singleton program. I didn't get those funds. Um, and so she still stood by me when I finally raised the money myself. And so in that way, I presented my concept to her. I really didn't have to explain it, like she came back and said, yeah, and so in the piece, I do show honor the life of Erica Garner as well, her sister, who was also died prematurely as a result of the stress of the heartbreak,
Was she younger?
Erica's older than Emerald. Emerald's younger.
The one who died was
older.
Old was older.
Yeah.
What? Okay, what was her cause of death?
Technically, it was. I think she was.
Cardiac arrest. I think I read.
Yeah, but it was
heartbreak.
Yeah, heartbreak.
It was heartbreak.
Period.
Yeah,
that's what she said.
And their younger brother just died.
Oh no.
Yeah, last year as a result of health issues. He had a transplant and it didn't
take
sustain.
right. Yeah.
So it's like this family, the stress is the number one killer for all of us, right? And it shows up in organs in different ways that we just don't know until you face it through somebody or yourself or whatever. And so God rest his soul, and Emerald is still standing, like she's still a warrior. She still represents, she has an organization. We can't breathe. And if you follow her, is at Emerald Garner. And at the end of the film, there's a call to action to support her. She took on her sister's children to raise them. This young sister is, a dynamic speaker. She has a book where she tells the story in her own words. So I implore you to follow Emerald Garner on Instagram, spelled Emerald Garner, Garner. And so I had a desire to show respect, but the story that I'm telling is, I play with the narrative. Some of it is actual and factual, and some of it is imagined, right? So,
well, in the dual universe, some of it happened. All of it happened.
All of it happened.
Yeah.
And it could be that you created it.
Hey, I received that.
Before we go a little bit further, I want to big up the sponsors, Midwest Festivals. They're presenting Ancestral Echoes. That's a camping, glamping music fest. The link is in the chat, y'all. The link is in the chat. Tasia said, hey, y'all. Jamil Cooper said, hello, everyone. And he said, yeah.
That's my childhood friend, family, who I play basketball at his house every day.
So he's one of the guys. He's one of the Flintstones.
Yes, he is.
All right.
And Tasia,
yabba dabba do.
Tasia, of course, your beautiful wife is my sister.
Yes.
Incredible artist herself, and she is responsible for me being here. So thank you, Tasia.
Yeah, if you'd have asked her, she could have played the Eric Garner role. You know what I mean? She'd have figured it out. You know,
that's what I mean? Real talk. Oh yeah, we got work.
Absolutely.
And speaking of Tasia, if you're ever out here on the coast, y'all, if you live on the coast, Tay Mills Aesthetics, Multicultural Skin, Body, and Weight Loss Pro. 213-290-4152. And then we got Bella B Designs. Y'all rotate this copper colored money. Bella B Designs 365@gmail.com. You might need something printed on a shirt. And then we got Gym Recovery. You know, your car might have spent out in a snowdrift and you're in the greater Chicago area. You can call Jim and tell him that all you watch is MSNBC and he's going to give you a nice discount. Gym Recovery.
That's what's up.
Don't say that. He's not going to give you that discount.
My bad. Tell him you watch The View all day, every day, and then you'll get a better deal.
Oh, no. You better tell him there's nothing on your box but Fox, and then he'll.
All right, go ahead, Tori. Whatever.
In your opinion, what's more challenging, being a female or copper colored in your professional journey?
Ooh, that's a real question. You know, I will say this, because I am an independent filmmaker, to be quite honest, being a female has been more challenging when I stepped into the writing, directing, producing world. It's been being female. It's hard, I think, for people, and particularly some brothers, to accept, a woman in a certain position. But it's not been majority. I will say that. It's surprising to me because I'm such an advocate for Black men, and naturally Black women, copper colored. I like that. So you kind of feel like, and it's not, that's just who I am, right? So people feel that. So you kind of expect to get that support.
Be embraced.
Right? So really what happens for me is when I have experienced the whole fact that I'm a woman being in charge of a set and those things, and I have certain men who have a problem with that, it actually is surprising. It has caught me off guard because I don't expect it. And I'm like, wait, what's happening? And then I have to realize, oh, I gotta, the mansplain and all that nonsense. And so, but it's weird because equally, that's also who has my back. The brothers got my back. So I can't say it's a majority, and I haven't had many problems. But as a filmmaker, that's your job to problem solve anyway. So you're gonna run into issues with men, women, whoever. But yeah, of the two in my journey, it has been the female position that has been harder for people to accept than Black or copper colored.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I've never even considered, bro, like, someone's acting different towards me. I just consider, all right, it could be a race thing, but, hey, maybe some of these women don't like me because I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? I've just never considered that. Like, like it's less likely than what would happen, with how society is with a woman in charge. I'm saying but it's just something I never considered.
Yeah, and it's something like when I tell you in Breathe, I had a challenge, and it was, it took two other men coming to me. Like, look here, this brother, you got to deal with this, Jamie. And I was like, damn, like it took two other men calling out a man, right? For me to address the issues in order for us to move forward, to have the film that we have. In my very first feature, I couldn't figure out, I was having an issue with someone, and, this particular brother, I actually, called him out on it, and he ended up pulling me to the side, and I just went straight into what was happening. And to his credit, he owned it in the moment, which is really difficult people to do. And then we only had a week left of filming, but he became like my champion. And it was his way. I think I accepted it as his way of apologizing, and I accepted it. And it's one of my best friends. But yeah, you just something I wasn't used to. I played basketball. I hung out with my guy cousins and sports and stuff. So I was cool. I was the cool sister, the round the way girl. And I just didn't expect it. I just, I didn't notice at first. And by something was wrong. And then I realized it was glaring.
Yeah, that happens. And I'm glad that that brother corrected his ways, because that,
Yeah,
let him, he was probably unconsciously doing that, and you pointed it out to him, and he, or consciously, I don't know him or whatever, but the feeling I get, but he, fixed it. That's the most important part.
Yeah, I think, and then on the last film, the guy didn't fix it, but I knew how to deal with it. So it was, and I was like, oh, okay, and just dealt with it. So yeah, par for the course,
What role did he have?
I don't want to say
Okay,
because
got you. Enough said.
Yeah,
Got
but
you.
it's a significant role.
It is say who it is. Creating a film like Breathe must have involved navigating intense emotions and complex narratives. How did you approach balancing the rawness of Eric Garner's story with the need to provide a sense of hope or resolution for the audience?
Wow, yeah.
I guess they would have to see it, and you can't blow it.
Yeah, they'll have to see it.
Yeah.
But I can. People know the gist of the story. Eric Garner was killed by police officers who pulled him over in terms of walking for selling loosies, which are loose cigarettes, single cigarettes on the street. And they were accusing him because actually it's in contention whether he was actually selling at the moment where he passed away.
I don't care if he was selling fentanyl.
Whatever.
Right, it doesn't matter, right?
Right, but go ahead.
But the point is, that's the general story, right? So for me, I feel a certain intensity inside of me when it comes to foul treatment of humanity, period. Especially somebody who looks like a family member, or, it could happen to my cousins or my grandfather or my uncles, So I feel a particular way. So it creates an intensity inside of me, and I want to do something, and I'm a woman, and contrary to what some people think now, in my opinion, we don't have the same physical strength as men, and so, the idea of trying to quote unquote fight or do anything is really like, it's not wise, so what can you do, right? So just in making the film was a way to express my emotional state, and my, just getting tired of it, like, just I'm tired of this. Like, it's happened so much, so frequent, that we forget the names of the people. Everybody started to say the name, but it's too many. So at some point, when is enough enough, right? So it gets me upset and angry. So I needed to find a way to put the audience in the space of, if they were watching this, or if this was somebody that they cared about, how I want them to feel that. And then I want them to have something to do, to have a place where they can relate to what the reaction is in the film. As you guys know, I can't say because it would give it away.
Right.
In the film, the characters have a certain reaction to what's happening that is not the norm, right? And so that was a way to release the emotion. And then I have a couple of characters in there who play real peace officers, right? So to have justice, all of that can alleviate
Mm-hmm.
some of the emotional rise that you experience when you watching the film. So I wanted all of that to be felt and expressed. And I also was very much aware of Ramsey Orta. Ramsey is the Puerto Rican young man who filmed Eric Garner, who was friends with Eric Garner,
Mm-hmm.
who's been harassed by the police ever since that. Before that,
Yeah.
and I reached out to him, and he's been incredible. And, I wanted him on the festival circuit with us. But he was arrested again
Oh,
for
wow.
making certain decisions, but he's been dealing with them for so long, it creates a certain PTSD in a person. And when I met him in person, like he's a beautiful young man, like his spirit, he's so gentle and he's so small. He's like a prince, powerful energy. Um, and he's a soldier, he's a beautiful person. So I wanted to show his humanity and their relationship. And then even the other gentleman who played the peace officer with me is Richard Rosario, who has become a brother to me. He is this dude, you gotta look him up. He was incarcerated a wrongful conviction by New York City police officers, convicted of a murder he did not commit. He was proven innocent. He proved himself innocent after 20 years, and he sued the city as well, the state of New York. And he was in the midst of his civil lawsuit when I was filming this. And I knew that he was interested in acting. So he made his acting debut in Breathe.
Oh, okay.
And what's so deep about this brother, he wrote a book called New York State of Mind. Please look it up on Amazon by Richard Rosario, spelled exactly how it sounds. He's super smart. He kind of looks like The Rock, the way he looks.
Yeah.
And he was on set, and it turned out to be his birthday the
Oh,
day we were
wow.
filming. And check it out. This brother who is built like The Rock, looks like The Rock, survived 20 years, looks amazing. You won't look at him and know that he looks amazing. But he was nervous about being out. We shot in Newark, New Jersey. He was nervous because he's on trial. So I had to give protection for him.
No doubt.
Nobody really knew, but I had protection right there on set for him. And he still did this for me. So it was some powerful elements coming together in this project. And so the emotions, I mean, from beginning to end were considered. Even I gotta speak about the song I chose to close the film out. Yeah, right. I know y'all felt that.
Yes,
So
sir.
that
Yes, we
song
did.
is called Ham Sandwich. And it's produced.
Wow.
Yes, just that. Like you got it right away. Yeah, most people don't get that right away. And the song is produced and written and performed by Ishmael Butler, who is the producing genius behind Diggable Planets and also lyricist, and also his other outfit, Shabazz Palaces. I'm a fan of both groups. And so the song was done by Shabazz Palaces, and I found it online.
Yeah, I'm
And
not
I
even
approached.
familiar with Shabazz.
Oh,
That's
you're not? Oh,
no, that's a rabbit hole I'm about to go down.
yeah, you go. Well, get ready.
I'm ready.
Um, so yeah, I approached him, and he was extremely generous and allowed me to use his song. And the irony of that is when I looked at when he put it out, I asked him, I said, you put this out when? And he said, like, I think December 2014. And I finished the class December 2014.
Wow.
you know, one of the lines when he says, I use my phone, can't get no signal in this place, something like that. You got to listen to it. But it basically is almost like it mirrors kind of what I did in the film. And I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. I need this.
Synchronicity.
Yeah, so I'm super grateful for him allowing me to do that. And so we had all these elements coming together for this little what seemingly was a little project. So Emerald Garner said yes. Ramsey Orta said yes from jail when I initially reached out to him. Richard Rosario, that just came into fruition, which again, God gave me all these ideas, and then Ishmael Butler, and then I got to talk about Stephen Hill, my actor, right? My actor is incredible. He is one of the stars of Magnum PI, the new Magnum PI. He plays, TC. He's also in The New Color Purple as one of the husband of the Sophia character.
She surely is ugly.
Yeah. And, you know, he and I are friends. We both are in the independent world and acting world together. And now he's, you know, mainstream. But he was my first choice to play Eric Garner. I approached him first, and we were at a film festival in Miami, ABFF. Shout out to them. And he said yes back then, and he kept his word. Like, even though he had started making money and was on, you know, TV and major network, and I said, hey, I want you to be my Eric Garner. And he was like, okay. Like, you know, he knew the script. We revisited. We had conversations because he was concerned about how the character was portrayed. He's similar to me. He, you know, the humanity. He didn't want to just gloat about the ending, as you guys know what that is. And I was like, no, it's not going to be a gloating, but it's going to be a situation where you react like a human being, you know, one of the human options, you know what I'm saying? And that's not regularly seen. And so yeah, God was all in this mix.
Big ups to him, because, you know,
praise
he
the
started
Lord.
getting paid so he could really do what he wanted to do. So he really wanted to do this film.
Yes, he did.
That was a whole blessing right there.
He did. And he was very, like, I mean, like, for example, we shot in Newark. We couldn't shoot in New York. Why? Because I paid for the permit. I was having conversations with the police officer who's over filming, because I know how it works, because I work for Film LA in LA. Right. So I knew what to do. I knew who to approach. I was given the schmooze, the green light, you know, and the police help you find locations. They're beautiful. They kept telling me, oh, we got to shoot it here. And I was like, no, I don't want to shoot it there in this white area. We got to do it this way. And da 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 da. It was a lot going on. And they BS'd me. And you pay your money once you have your location secured in New York. And I couldn't get my money back. Then they came back and told me no. Right. Which I was, this is me. I was upset. I'm like, I'm shooting guerrilla. They're not going to stop me. I'm shooting my film. Right. But I had cop cars involved and things. I'm like, this is going to be very difficult. And so I went back to the drawing board in prayer, and God was like, you know, look around New Jersey. And I started conversing with the people who own the cop cars that I would rent. And this white guy.
Problem solved.
Yeah, problem solved. He told me, hey, you know, look at Newark, you know, because I said, I need something that looks like Staten Island. He said, look at Newark and look at Patterson. And I would go online and look through streets using Google Maps and look through the streets and stuff in Newark. And I found like that bodega and the red wall, and it represented blood to me. It's like it all had some purpose. And I was dead set on that wall. And I had forgotten that my friend from Howard University his brother was the mayor.
Oh my gosh.
I forgot. I just forgot, because this is Mitty. I call him Mitty. And I'm like, wait a minute, Mitty is the, wait, I had already contacted the film office and then I remembered. So I was like, what am I doing? And I looked up Mitty's exact title. He is chief of staff. And I called him
Yeah.
and was like, Mitty, I need to shoot this Eric Garner film in your city. He was like, say less. Say less. And he put all the pieces in place and his assigned me Dupree Kelly, who hip hop, Monaco, those gentlemen who are city officials, councilmen and councilman staff assisted me. Like, and Desiree, who was over the film office, like we went through all the channels and did it the proper way. And Newark showed me so much love. And the people I used, the background people are people that lived in the neighborhood. I paid them. They were just standing around watching, because people weren't really shooting. Newark is now, Raz Baraka has really incentivized filmmakers big time. And this brother Kenny, who's over the Newark International Film Festival, actually will be participating in this year. He's been doing independent film as well there. It's a beautiful community in Newark. Ryan, this brother that owns a photography studio right next to the bodega, and I needed a holding spot. So I just reached out to him and he showed us so much love that now, I refer people there and
no doubt.
Events. Like it was
big ups to Newark, New Jersey, and all the people who chimed in. I want to back up a little bit here. You were talking about the lead actor. Yeah, excellent job. He nailed it. He completely nailed it. And you mentioned God. Tori mentioned synchronicity. You were talking about the record. It's because it's
ordained.
Yes.
Right.
That's why he did it. He gave you his word. God
man
showed you someone who will keep the word, and then go through the process. So that's all love. We're gonna take a quick break, but I got a quick question for you before we do that. How did you I know you probably went over a lot of different titles, or was it just that title hit you and then you start writing it? How did you come up with the title Breathe?
Okay, so originally it was called I Can't Breathe because those are the actual words that Eric Garner used prior to his demise. But you guys know what the story does. And so Breathe, I think, is befitting. I don't mean to sound so mystical to the audience, but I don't want to give away the film completely. But Breathe, it just fits. That's all I can say. And once that landed on me, that's it. I was like, okay, people were like, but you need to use the I Can't Breathe because that's what people know. I'm like, nah, they'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Like people will catch up when they catch up. So
I like it. And with films, the shorter the title, the better.
Thank you.
Yeah. I actually, you nailed it with that. And yeah, it's tough to talk about it because, you don't want to blow the end, but now it makes sense. Yeah. It makes sense to those of us who've been privy.
Yes, it's expensive for it. Once I get the distribution going, everybody else can see it.
It's going
100%. Yeah,
you're getting that, so you already know that. It's ordained. This whole synchronicity, everything falling in line. It's gonna fall in line, so no worries.
Yeah, and concerns. Your league gonna go to the moon, and then all his stuff.
Man.
Period. But handle your business, Self. We're gonna take we'll see you in 6 minutes, Jamie. So we'll see you in 6 minutes. 6-minute break.
That'd be fresh and you're on.
Yeah.
Yes, y'all. It don't stop. Self Love Show rocks on. It's been amazing. And I knew it would be because we got an incredible
blessed talent in front of us, as we always present to you from the Self Love Show. But as you know, we're gonna take a little break, and we got some incredible videos to edutain you. You check them out, and we'll be right back at you.
How do you think the vibrations and harmonics of a guitar influence our inner emotional landscape and alter our state of consciousness?
So when you think of yourself as the earth, when you're one with the earth, so if I'm playing an acoustic guitar in the park by some trees, so what it's going to do for me and them trees is going to release. I don't know what it's releasing. It's releasing something though. It's something like, it's like playing at the lake, playing at the water, when you're strumming and everything's perfect and everything's in tune and you can just hear that and that's it. I think that's healing, you know what I'm saying? So honestly, music should be something that heals you, It should be, and that's the state of the, I know a lot of the new artists too, personally, but I know they understand the power behind the music, the energy behind the music, but I don't think they understand the effect of the power that's behind the music.
It seems like when they do, they end up either in jail or dead. What's his name? XXXTentacion. R. Kelly started changing the vibration because it was all good when he was doing what he was doing allegedly, and he was talking about right. But when he started saying, "I believe I could fly," and Lil Durk started becoming
lesser. Juice WRLD,
yeah.
Juice, man.
What's up? You punks crazy or something, man?
Chill out, man. We're just looking for some citizens.
You looking for some citizens, y'all?
What it does to you when you become an influencer of the world, the population, like a big part of the masses, and you have this like power in your hands, but somebody's kind of controlling you too, and they're egging you on to do these things. They're calling you to not do these things, and this is what selling your soul is all about. This is what giving a piece of yourself away is about. Little by little or lot by lot, however you give it away, you give it bullshit. You give it away. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what they don't know when they sign on the dotted line, if they're not spiritual. So we're going to start to the question that was asked earlier on. You have to start with spirituality before you can navigate properly through any of this, because if you don't have an anchor that's based on a perfect balance, a God, something that you can relate to, that can give you, you need something to walk with, and it's going to be a lot of trials and true, and nobody's perfect, know that. But when you put your bit in and when you put your seasoning into the pot or you drop your coin in or whatever it is, just make it blessed, man. So when you do music, you should make it blessed.
You sounding like this shit is the wheel or something, like it's gonna change the world. Look, man, I don't know about all that change the world shit, but what I do know is that they be going crazy over this, man. I'm telling you. And the bitches, oh Lord, the bitches, yo, they do anything for this.
I could be, by the airport, and it could be 70 degrees by the airport, and as soon as you come up over that hill on the 101 or the 405, and you feel that heat, now you're like sitting in it. And you have to now wait for the climate to adjust based on so if that's happening in nature, then it's happening in our body. We're a part of nature. We're all connected. And that when you shift in that way, you then begin to operate differently. And so I began to understand that every component of my life, everything that I thought I could control, I had no control over. And the things that I could control, I began to focus more on. And that was my attitude. That is my relationship with myself and God in me. That is my, like you said, the spiritual principles. That's getting back to scripture. That's going back to all resources that have been available and accessible to us all.
Turn the into a certified sinner.
When I die,
I wanna go to hell. When I die, I wanna go to hell.
Who played the drug dealer in Snowfall? Damon Idris.
I remember sometime we do 10 episodes for my show, and in this last season, I was hitting a block, right? I was like, oh, I'm not doing it right? So I went in the corner, and then I was looking at the wall, and I was like, come on, devil, right? Come to me. Come on, devil, right? Come to me. Because I had to do something like crazy, right? I had nightmares for a month.
Man, I thank you guys for inviting me on. Thank you. Great format, very solid. You know, it don't have that low budget movie feel. You know what I'm saying? And we get that a lot in the Black community. For real, like people look at us to be fuck ups. They look at us to be low budget. They look at us to be ignorant, stuttering, and use a whole bunch of and all of that. But no, they got the real deal on here. That everybody know who Torian Mills is, baby. They know.
Hey, well, bro,
They so ignorant.
Hey, but this platform's your platform. This platform's my platform. From Inglewood, California to
the
Chicago,
South Shore.
Crazy thing about it.
This platform is
made for you and me.
It's made for you.
The crazy and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. I was trying to get out the end of the preamble, but go ahead, bro.
Yes, y'all. We don't stop. The Self Love Show rocks on.
The Self Love Show. Wordsmith 9 Mills. The Self Love Show. The Self Love Show. You know how the story go.
It's the Self Love Show. We're back. I know those videos, man. Outstanding. TATN produces. Oh, magnificent edutainment to grow your consciousness. And man, today, breathe. Found film on Eric Garner with producer, director, writer Jamie Burton Oare. It's a wonderful situation. She's blessing us from her spirit with all kinds of information. So chill, listen, absorb, and learn.
100 dropping some diamonds out here, bro. I want to big up the sponsors. Midwest Festivals presents Ancestral Echoes out there.
Echoes.
Getaway and Glamp. Listen to some great house music from the past, present, and from the future.
There's still some early bird specials. You better get it.
Connect with your ancestors. You know, be around some great people. And then we got Tay Mills Aesthetics. I gave the wrong phone number here. I don't know what's going on with the second time I've done this. Because I did the one with Gym Recovery. All right. Multicultural Skin, Body, and Weight Loss Pro. Okay. 213-290-4151. In fact, I'll drop that in. She's got a link. I'll drop it in the chat for everybody. And that'll make it a lot easier, huh? And then
yes, y'all.
And we got
outstanding. Guarantee.
Yeah. And then we got Bella B Designs 365@gmail.com. I'm going to drop that link in there as well. And Gym Recovery. I've been butchering the phone number. So let's go ahead and get our honored guest back in the building. If you guys have any questions out there in the chat, let us know. We'll be more than happy to comply. Let's keep it respectful. All right, brother Wordsmith. Have at it, good brother. Have at it.
Uh-oh. I'm not prepared. But I did want to say something, that I was so into the film that I didn't notice that you were in it.
Very good. The peace officers.
Yeah. I know once you said it, I was like,
yeah.
But I did not know that until you said it. Like I was so into it, like for real.
Very good. You know, it's so funny. I didn't plan on being in it. But conceptually it worked because I was trying to kind of in the brand of the copper tone. I was trying to get like I was trying to use all the tones of us, you know, and I was like, this might be visually kind of cool because the middle, the middle comes in, you know, like you like the Midwest is the middle. We're the middle of the country, right? We're the if you really want to know what's going on in America, the Midwest can tell you. And I do believe those of us who have experienced in some degree both coast and some degree like travel to or whatever. But when you meet people from the Midwest, it's pretty solid individuals usually, right? That's by my experience.
Yeah,
And so,
I'm sorry for interrupting, but I've found that the Midwest is like the foundation of civilization. It's the most solid parts of the earth, the energy and how the people that I've met and know move. And like and what's really tripped out is the people that influence both coasts come from the Midwest. It ain't really people from there mostly.
yeah, I mean, I'm in love with New York City. It gave me a lot artistically, boldness, confidence. And then I come from the Bay Area. I was born there and my mom returned there. So in my 30s, I spent all my 30s up in Oakland. In LA, I live here now and stuff like that. So I got beautiful experiences all over DC, but somehow we just kind of put it all together and come back to the middle, right? And I felt like something kind of similar with the representation of these officers at the end, like, you know, between white and black, you know. Some you know, that's my father didn't grow up with him, met him as an adult, but he's a white dude. So culturally he didn't impact me, but genetically he impacted me. And my mother is a sister, you know, black woman. And so I'm in the middle in terms of that. And his picture is a Puerto Rican brother from New York, and he's a true Puerto Rican, like a New Yorican, right? Which they're very, very proud of their Taino African lineage.
Yeah,
They,
the Boricuans.
yeah,
Boricua and
Boricua.
Yeah, Boricua and
yeah,
Boricua.
they very,
That's what
very,
they Puerto Ricans say they are. They don't say no Puerto
Well, the
Rican. I mean,
native,
they do, you know.
the indigenous ones.
yeah, but even they're very like more so than Dominicans. Dominicans typically are darker colored than Puerto Ricans, but they disconnect lineage, whereas Puerto Ricans would be like, they'll check you in Puerto Rico where I've been and in New York, right? So for he and I to be those characters, which it kind of happened, but with him it was more deliberate, but he just happened to say yes. It made sense to me because I did check. So that I guess that would go back to the original question as far as societal expectations. Now I have to say, yeah, some of it comes in because I try to go against type, you know, in my work, and now it's caught up. Like Black Panther changed the game with that because for me, my first short film, The Bully, it's about these two girls, young girls, and one bullies the other. And I was adamant about the one who was being bullied to be darker, and the one that wasn't was to be lighter. That was on purpose because of the representation that was needed, and now thankfully it is leveling up and leveling out. Actually, you yellow, you on the sidelines, but it's all good, because it's important, it's necessary, and the imagery needs to catch
Yellow.
up.
High yellow.
Reflect.
yellow.
It needs to reflect the origins of this place that we
Yeah, in all the years where sisters, my big sister slash big cousin, who I grew up in the house with, is this gorgeous chocolate woman, and she had to deal with the "you too dark" or don't get this, don't be in the sun too
Don't
long,
be in
all
you in the
this
sun too
crazy stuff.
long. Please.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what? But I
complete
can't,
nonsense.
Your head
right.
too nappy, your lips too big.
But she
Man, oh my
she grew
God.
up though during the time when the light skin was in,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I
But
mean,
in my city, the brothers, they came for her. Actually, the yellow brothers came for her, which I just love that. It's almost like a balancing thing that just
Yeah. You
yeah,
zoom out, it's all God's perfection.
it's all God's perfection. So, but anyway, yeah. So yeah, so I did end up in the film.
excellent job. Like I said, I was just like,
Who that
oh,
is?
I was absorbing. I didn't know until you said it. I was still absorbed in like this is all you were that character. That's one thing. Your acting is very good because
Oh, thank you. And I'm so critical of myself in the film because I was, you know, I could have done better, but whatever, it worked.
hey, we're all our own worst critic if you're an artist at heart. So you know what I mean.
Facts.
But you also have to produce art. You can't wait for perfection. You can't deal with perfecting everything because it takes time and money, especially when you shoot and film. I mean, I got a studio, I do music, and I can take way more time than you can when you're doing a film. That's for sure, especially independent film on this level.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I receive it. What happened to 9?
He went away so we could speak. Were there any moments during creative process where you experienced synchronicities or felt guided by something larger than yourself?
Yes. So I actually shot the plants, right? So that was one. I had very specific ways that I wanted that to look. And the communication with my DP on me was not necessarily getting what I wanted, and I had to actually do it, take the camera and shoot it. And and you can see like the dewdrops on the plants, and there's a lot of depth of field where they feel more tangible, and I just wanted them to live. I wanted the plants, to me, represented, for me, they were representations of Black men and women who, particularly men who had already lost their lives to police officers, to premature violence, to the system that we live in, the oppression. So the one that had the red, uh, what do you call it? The red
Bulbs.
bulbs that was like my little Tupac plant, because that's what I named the plant, so that was something that I ended up doing. And then my DP saw like, oh, that's what you want. And he did his thing too. But yeah,
But you saw that, right? You saw that in your mind's eye.
Yeah.
And
right.
Yeah, and then where did that come from? Like,
And that I felt was straight God, like just almost guiding even the camera. I remember when we shot and the room, the crew, the cast, everybody was quiet and the camera, it was just gliding. And this is, so I'm a Canon person. I use Canon cameras. My DP uses Z-Cam, so I studied it, but it was new. And he literally was like, let me put it on your shoulder. And this is where the focus ring is, like really right in the moment. So I got comfortable with the camera right away. And then it felt like the camera's very heavy. He was like, it's very heavy. So he was positioning it. But it just felt like it floated for me. Like it like floated.
Yeah, like it was just moving on its own. You're just kind of
I'm just there.
Yeah.
Vessel.
And I'm I have small bones. I'm not like, this. So it was that moment for sure. And also when I met with Ramsey was supposed to come to set. We said he was coming and then he didn't come. And then, he was nervous. And so I ended up meeting with him in Brooklyn, just he and I in a car, because I wanted his voice so I could use it in the film. And the exchange we had where he could feel me and he was looking over his shoulder, feeling like the police might be following him. And the exchange we had was spiritual, like I could feel his soul and knowing his story from his childhood and things that a little bit about his story and what, he had to endure. It was really a heart-to-heart exchange. I felt like I want Ramsey he shouldn't be locked up. He should have mental health support and be given an opportunity to soar in this life, and I want that for him. That was
Ramsey.
Ramsey, the one who filmed Eric Garner.
No, I say free Ramsey. Free Ramsey.
Oh, yeah, free Ramsey. Right. And then also Emerald, Emerald and I have a relationship. Like I think she's amazing. That family has been through a lot, and I think she's an incredible young woman. And she has a really beautiful stature. Emerald might be like 6'2", or she's tall, and just very confident. And so, all of us, like there was a certain synergy that occurred. And like even Steven, he bought Richard a cake for his birthday for, Richard Rosario. Like, it was just this whole camaraderie happening. I felt God involved in it all. Like I can't do anything without God, because none of us can, but I really can't. It was 103 degrees in Newark. You know what I mean? They had record-breaking heat, and I can't stand that type of heat. But somehow I adapted and kept it moving. That was not me. People know, I'm surprised I don't have my fan out right now. It was like, yeah, but all of that just went by the wayside. And so that's what my experience, that's why I love film, because that's what happens. When you put it all, you do all that you can do and move out the way, and it just kind of happens. You know what I mean? And it's organic. And these moments, there were so many moments, but those are some in particular. There was a gentleman, he has on blue shorts, a white tank top. He was in the neighborhood, John, and he walks around the Paulie character when Eric is with Paulie on the street. Walks around him. His family, it's a family too. But that guy, he and I talked, and he told me like he had lost his daughter. It broke his heart, and that's what got him, addicted to drugs, and he was trying to deal with his pain, and like he was back home. He's in a different space now. His heart was so beautiful, and he just He was so happy to join us, and he was just watching just to see something, and we just encouraged him. Like, this is my ministry. A lot of times, it's like, it's funny. A good friend of mine who's a filmmaker, we were discussing the whole Hollywood situation, and I was telling him, I haven't even really looked for a agent for directing. I haven't really tried, and I've just been busy with all the other stuff. And he was like, sincerely asked me, like, well, what's the point? Like, what was the point of making a short film if you're not going to do that? And I said, because I'm an artist. Like, I've reconciled all of that, like, I'm an artist first. Do I want to participate in what Hollywood has to offer me? Absolutely. But it's got to coincide with my vision. It's not going to be at the expense, because I'm just not built like that. Like, I've never been on the casting couch. I've never, like, have I been offered? Sure. But people know your energy. And it's like, get out of my face with that, right? And I had this guy tell me one time, good luck, and with that kind of, because I wouldn't do certain things. Good luck, you, with your career in Hollywood. I laughed in his face. I'm like, you really, you don't know me if you think you have that kind of power. Like, God has, every blessing I've ever had has never been traditional. And I'm not opposed to traditional, but it comes in these ways that assure me that is God only. If I date someone in Hollywood, it's because I like your ass. It's not because you can, like, I'm not confused.
Fancy you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not confused about who I am or whose I am.
Right.
And I've been told, I've been told by some really interesting people, oh, Jamie, you cocky. And I'm like, but I'm not, I'm just me. And I'm
Convinced
humble.
in
Yeah,
who I
because
am.
I can't do anything without God. I know that. I know my weaknesses, but I also know, and I love to give people respect where respect is due. But sometimes people get confused and they think that you're worshiping them, and they don't understand. No, I'm giving credit for the God in you that you said yes to, whether you know it or not. That's what I'm doing. But I know that because you've done that, I can do that. So it inspires me to see people do well, like this, like Ryan Coogler right now with Sinners. Like, I love it. I love that this brother is he's such a juicy Oakland brother, meaning I know Oakland men, and he is straight Oakland. He's not pretentious. He's not, I've been around him. I don't know him, but at screenings and stuff, and you can approach him, and he's just a real dude. And look at what God has done and allowed him to do. And I love that. Is so inspirational to me.
He's getting a part of, they're mad because he's getting a part of the ticket sales off the gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
deservedly so, and he better.
Well, he checked him because he's like, I'm not the first person to ever get this.
Right.
He educated me.
So he was like, I'm trying to figure out why,
It's a thing. Why you saying anything about it?
Yeah.
These people do it. Blah, 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 blah,
Talk
blah.
about humanity walking, right?
Yeah.
He did his response is so human.
It was brilliant though. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah. I mean, so, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, he proves that you can be you and still participate in what Hollywood may have to offer. And so for me, like, that's the only way. Like, I can't lie and act like I don't want people to see all my work and to get appreciated for my work and get paid for of course. But it's not number one, right? For me, it would never be at the expense of
the art,
my soul's calling, and what I feel I need to do internally. Like, I'm thankfully I wasn't raised that way. I'm my mother's child. I'm Maxine Joyce Burton's daughter. And my mom is this amazing human being. Like, She's an 86-year-old walking oracle
Mm.
who texts me today the funniest YouTube video that y'all probably ain't even seen yet. My mom is so progressive. You know, she uses emojis like better than me. You know, like she uses YouTube. She's watching the NBA. I'm messing with her NBA schedule right now with the playoffs, because so it's like I come from this woman and my family in Flint, and we're very we just real people. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, everybody I met from Flint seems, earthy, down to earth, keeping it real. I hope I ain't pissing nobody off with the water comment, because
Oh no, you good,
I'd be making jokes and I don't be laughing. But I think we might even cover that. But let me ask you something. Do your creative process, are you using your imagination, or is your imagination using you? Brother Wordsmith used the word vessel earlier. What do you think's going on?
That's really good. I think it's both. But I wonder which one wins most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because, well, in Breathe, I really was exercising my imagination more than normal. Because so there, the art form, I love realism, right? And I'm trying to expand beyond realism. But like one of my favorite films is Bicycle Thief, which is, I think, Scorsese's was influenced heavily by that film. And it's like, to go back to the question, I can, I can kind of lean heavy into it. But I want to expand and use, I think my imagination is using me more than I'm using it, but I think that's changing. And
Mm-hmm.
Breathe is an example of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can take it all the way back. You're leaving Theta, meaning before Howard, before high school, before grade school, before all of that. You said you're an artist, and you are. Your first creative adventure, was it something you pursued, or did it pursue you? I don't know if we can remember back that far. I mean, maybe we'd have to go there to really get to the bottom of it.
Oh, I like that. So this is not my first, but I will tell you what was significant, and I pursued it. In the city of Flint, the prom is a big deal. And so my aunt Bonnie Johnson, rest in peace, was one of the prom dress makers. And it was important who made your prom dress. And
No doubt.
she had a history of making dope prom dresses, beautiful prom dresses. And that meant you made the guys vest and bow tie as well. And so I have tons of photographs right now that I still have, because I was this little kid who would go to all the proms. My mother would take me and I would take pictures. Like I was deep into it. Like I got to get there. Like I'm reporting on it, right?
Right, like Brother Wordsmith in the Cotillion. We were talking about it earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like, my cousins can tell you, my big cousins, like Jamie would be right there with my mom. My mom's like, "Oh, are you done yet?" And she would facilitate this. And I would take the pictures and go get them developed at Myers. and and before Myers even had their section, it was somewhere else I would go. But yeah, I was doing that when I was a young person. And I'll tell you this, in the 4th grade, I took a photography class, and my mom, she let me know that I could explore all my interests, right? So I took a photography class, and the first camera I purchased that she bought for me was a $25 Kodak disc. It had just came out. It was gold. And that was my first purchase camera, but I was gifted cameras, the little long sliding one by Webb, who was a family friend. And we were trying to figure out how old I was. I probably was like 4 or 5 years old at his house playing with cameras. Um, so I was into photography, you know, and I pursued the hell out of it. I took pictures at the University of Michigan Flint, at the high schools. If they had it there, I was like, I need to go. And, that was one
Well,
of,
I think I was the next George Washington Carver because I used to be dirty. I used to play in the dirt. Whatever
yeah,
no, my family wasn't poor. You know what I mean? They give me nice clothes. That somehow I was just like
Like, what are you doing?
I'll be playing in the dirt, finding
What?
worms and just playing in the
right.
dirt. So I think I should have been like a agriculturist, like, you know what I mean? Or you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Well, I actually used, because you did mention before. So like when as a little kid, I do remember me and my cousins, and I don't know if I can't say it was my idea. It might have been one of them, but we all three, me, Jason, and Dion,
hmm
take the rugs in the hallway,
hmm
like a little furry rug, and we would shake it until it was like crumpled up and made little roads. And we would take the little Hot Wheels cars, and that would be our little track.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and you had little
That
tunnels and
was
stuff like
let's
that.
play cars. That's what that meant, right?
Yeah.
So
Right,
we were
right.
creative, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It sounds
And
like y'all was in theta.
yeah, and then I would go out,
Yeah.
In the middle of theta with some
I would go
man.
outside by
Look at him.
myself.
Look at him. He's filthy. They used to feed me right before the big event, put me in
Oh
a
my
white suit, give me chocolate. You know what I mean? And look at him.
Why are you giving me anything white? You know what I'm gonna
Exactly.
do. I'm gonna
I'm
go
messing
right
it
over here.
all up.
You already know.
Yeah,
I don't care what
I
y'all
would go
think about it.
outside and play marbles with the,
Yeah, shoot marbles for the
and you make
bolos.
your
Yeah.
own game with the
Yes.
rocks. You would be
Yes.
creative and take the rocks and
Yeah.
watch
Yeah.
the ants and stuff. Yeah, I did all that.
And that was fine tuning the imagination too, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Before we jump to the more esoteric stuff, because I know you're a hard 30 minutes left. So what's your take on, because I know it was a big issue during the strike out here in Copperwood. What's your take on artificial intelligence and the filmmaking industry? Is your future dystopian or more of a utopian vision at yet?
Always utopian for me. I think like anything else, when something is new, the first response is to kind of defend against. And I as a writer, to hear that something in Chat GPT can write the script is like, what? Um, but I'm confident that as I learn more and experience AI more, I am fully convinced that, you can come close
Mm-hmm.
to many things, right? You can come close, but
Mm-hmm.
our design as humans is so unique and so
Mm-hmm.
nuanced and so perfectly
Mm-hmm.
imperfect
Mm-hmm.
that it'll never be human.
That's why it's
So
artificial.
it's artificial. So it's kind of like when you guys sent me that uh AI discussion of Breathe.
Oh yeah, we're gonna run it after. I was gonna run it with you here, but you're short on time. But go ahead. No, go ahead. When you
Yeah.
sent it,
Well,
yeah.
I'll just say I was like, wow. I was listening to the whole thing, like this sounds cool. I wasn't, it was more of an embrace to me.
Right.
But I could see where it was not quite, on the money, but it did a hell of a job. It quickly doing a summary, and giving it some levity and making it interesting, like, but again, when I'm on YouTube and they give these speeches and they're like, oh, Denzel Washington said this. And I know, no, he didn't. This is some AI happening, right? Now, but here's the thing. This is the one thing that's a little scary for the younger people who don't know those particular as intimately as we do. They can easily be fooled. So that part, I don't like that part. I don't like that part. But I do understand that they're smarter than us because they're coming after us. So there will be some type of way, I feel, to differentiate, if they get into the work. They got to get into the work. So they, like when you get to know a person, automatically that doesn't sound like that person. If you're critically thinking, you like, somebody tells you that Viola Davis, ran out in the street and like slapped the lady in the face and punched her in the face for no reason. You go, nah.
Or she did a scene and she started crying, but snot did not come out of her nose. You're like, no, that ain't Viola.
Wait a minute,
Snot's supposed to
that's
be
not
coming
Viola,
out.
right? So,
It's supposed
and
to be
for me,
snot coming out of her left nostril.
and you just gotta hope that
Big
people,
ups to Viola Davis.
yeah, she's beautiful.
Yeah, she's a giant at this thing too.
I just watched G20. I love her better as the action hero. Like
100%.
She's a dopest.
She's got range. Let's just put.
Honestly, I prefer when she did Woman King and G20. That's when I locked in. I already liked her and thought she was great and all of that. But when it became personal for me, like, yo, she's a beast. It actually is the last two her action roles. She's an she's an amazing action hero, like, and believable and feminine and all the things. Like,
Now, do you think her hue? Do you think if she was high yellow, her journey would have been different? She would be received differently if she was high yellow as opposed to having a chocolate hue.
Well, I think her timing is perfect right now, but her
True.
it's perfect right now. It's just perfect. But and I've read her book, so I know her story is woo in Rhode Island. Like, her family, man, she's an amazing person.
They said that about Michael Jordan. His timing was perfect when he was thrown into the NBA. But go ahead.
Yes. But like her coming up and not having her breakout role until she did, was her hue a factor? Of course, because just now we're in Sinners, in Black Panther, seeing two dark-skinned individuals romantically linked and shot in these sexy. Now, we, of course, in our families, we know that's real anyway. But on a big screen that's going all around the world, they just wouldn't even do it, So hell yeah, she was affected in terms of what was presented. But I think as God is, all of that is what's in her, and it made her this undeniable force, and her femininity inside of her strength, which I personally am grateful to always see, because I'm that type of woman. I'm not the super dainty woman, but I'm very feminine, but it can be masked to some men who can't see because of imagery that they've been presented as to what that looks like. And
or because, not that I'm judging, or because of their potential feminine tendencies. Could be in the shadow. But go ahead. That's me talking, not you.
That's true. And so I absolutely adore her as this badass woman that'll kick your ass.
But she's still a lady, is what you're saying.
A lady.
Right.
She's no doubt a lady.
Right.
And that the love that that she exudes to me, like her husband, her real life husband, who was in G20, who's her partner. I love him because he has the confidence to stand with her and to go. And now he's getting his acting chops in. And I love it because that is,
So your next project, Halle Berry and Viola Davis, their agents are calling you begging to play the lead. Which one of them you roll? I know it's hard to say because it depends on the character and all of that. Yeah.
On the material. Because Halle is my girl too.
All right, they both call you and say, "Yeah, I want you to write a project," but you know what I mean. But you're gonna use one of them. Which one are you picking?
I gotta pick one.
Yeah.
What's the project? I gotta have.
It's gonna be whatever you want to make. You can start with Halle Berry, High Yellow. She's won an Academy Award. I think the only one to win the Academy Award, or Viola Davis. I think I'm going with Viola if you want me to be honest. I don't know, but Holly's bigger at the box office. Holly is box office.
It is it's too many factors. You trying to make money? What's the subject matter?
It's her producer hat. Yeah, am I the producer?
As a producer,
yeah.
For me, it's the story, it's the character, right?
Yeah.
Like Halle has her voice. Just talk about the resonance of their voices, right? So Halle's voice is she has a softer voice, so her strength is kind of like it's this quiet kind of tenacity. But if you remember her in Jungle Fever, when she was with Samuel and she was kind of like in this pleading, but she snapped the F out.
You're supposed to bring back the pizzas.
I'm thinking to do the right thing. I'm thinking,
no.
I was thinking of the Puerto Rican, and I was like, can he slap her? And I don't hit women. But
she tapped into her Cleveland roots. It just depends. But Viola, she has those levels. She has a resonance that I love in her voice, but it's like she speaks. My aunt has a deep voice. I've been told my voice is deep on the deeper side compared to like that light voice. But Halle, I love her too. Like it's room for both of these sisters. It depends. I wouldn't just be picking at this point. Like I said, when I did it, it needed to be done. Right now, I feel that the having dark-skinned sisters in prominent roles is very important, and I'm all here for it, as and it's important to level things out. But now it kind of frees me up to not have to think about that. So now it's kind of like, what's the character? Who's the best one for the part? Like you really feel like a sense of like, okay, I like this for me.
Right.
Like Zendaya, I love Zendaya.
No, I got you. Because of your integrity, you're gonna go right with yeah. Well, I'll get back with you after we get the project done, and then I'll let them know.
I'll tell you this. I was auditioned for a role. So Barry Jenkins, right, who did Moonlight, who just did the film about my hometown, Clarissa Shields, who I love. Barry Jenkins had a film. Barry and I met when I was in a short film called Shooter that did really well as an actress. And he was doing some films on the film circuit. And he really enjoyed my performance in Shooter. And so when he did Medicine for Melancholy, the script, his first feature, which was really beautifully written, I loved it. He called me in. I auditioned for that role. And I love the writing, but when I read it, I was like, this ain't for me. I'm like, to make the statement visually that needs to be made, I had to be a darker skinned person, because he was talking about the gentrification in San Francisco, and it's like white, this is becoming so white, and so what he was saying in the film, I personally felt it wouldn't even be, I would have taken a part and rocked that essence in my performance. But just as the filmmaker, visually, you needed, and he did. He cast a much browner sister, and I thought that was right for the part. So I and Zendaya, she did the same thing. She refused.
Well, that's your intuition.
Yes.
You see, that's your intuition, right? And we all should just use more of that.
Yeah.
Because Zendaya was what?
She was I think she turned down was offered either something in Woman King or it was one of the films where the she felt like, nah, this don't I'm not right for this part. And she's, you know, like me, she has a black parent, a white parent, and but she definitely owns her blackness. And she did it at a point, at a high point where everybody knows who she is, and and I love that sister. She's got integrity, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Will Smith turned down the Matrix. Like, you don't know why you're doing certain things, but you know, and look how the Matrix became. You know, like everything's for a reason. You know.
Yeah, he turned down the Matrix for the oh damn.
Yeah, what
I
movie
just
was it?
saw him say,
It was a bust.
Yeah, it was a bust.
It was a
But
remake.
he
I
turned
know.
down the Matrix because God told
Wild
him
Wild
to.
West. Wild Wild West.
Wild Wild West. I'm gonna have to
Exactly.
rewatch
Thank
that
you so
again.
much.
But I never liked Kumo D's song, "The Wild Wild West." You remember that? I tied it all together. Never gave it a chance. Wild Wild West. Never gave it a chance.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna push on because you got like 18 minutes, and you told me a hard 18 minutes. All right.
I got a few. I have to be somewhere at 8 o'clock, but I can go an extra. Just say 7:40.
Okay. Cool. Got you. All right. Can you recommend a black-owned restaurant anywhere in the world?
I can recommend a lot of them.
Just give me one that jumps out at you.
Just well, I just it's funny because I'm going through some eating changes right now, so my taste buds are a little bit different. But I'll just start with uh, bl- um I don't want to do that one.
Roscoe's on Washington.
No. You know what? I'm just gonna go with I just came back from home. So I want to shout out my friends. It's called the Soul Section, and these are my friends in Flint, Michigan. And they have a vegan restaurant, and my artist friend Mama Soul, my little sister Buffy, um, my brother Saeed, and they combine like vegan food and healthy juices, and it's in the
Nice.
Totem Bookstore in Flint, Michigan.
Look at that.
I'll just
They say,
start there.
they say if you want to hide something from the copper colored, the first
Put it
thing
in
you're
a
gonna do
book.
is put in a book, and another thing you're gonna do is put in a vegan restaurant. But for all us who know better, what's the name of it again? You find yourself
SOL section.
Soul Section. You find yourself in Flint, Michigan. Order the bottled water, in my opinion. At least that's what I would do. Big ups to everybody, and shame on the government. All right, recommend a book, any book.
Oh my goodness. I read about 3 or 4 books at a time, which is not healthy. But I will recommend Viola Davis's autobiography. Um,
Mm.
it's you'll really respect her journey even
Mm-hmm.
more when you read about where she came from.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, woo, I can see it could be a film, the way she describes her mother
Who
and
would
her
you cast in it? Who's gonna play her?
well, she can't play herself, right? So I would cast the sister that I just saw in Sinners, and she was the character. I don't know her name. I'm gonna find it, but she was the one who was married, and she was. Did you see it? Well, I don't want to. She was the married one that came on to Sammy, the younger
Okay.
character.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
I would cast her. She was dope, and she's the right age. I would cast her.
Yeah, I've been let Viola direct it.
Yeah, if she wants
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love to direct the film that somebody's playing me because I'll be on the actor's ass like, wait a minute, man.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Take that off your
yeah.
head and put
I
this
mean,
one on.
Viola, like this sister, she could do it. This young sister, I don't know her name, but
Yeah.
she's beautiful. She's got the right complexion. She's got the right chops, and I don't know any of her other work. Or I like Danielle Deadweiler too. I'm a fan of hers, but in order to play the coming of age, I picked the sister in Sinners.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. We got the $1 billion question for you. All
I
right.
love
Yeah. $1 billion question. Suppose you were offered 1 billion tax-free dollars, right? They'll drop it right into your Venmo account, Cash App, Zelle, however you want it. There's nothing illegal. There's nothing immoral about the money. No one's losing their life. However, when you wake up in the morning, you will discover that you have aged 10 years. No one else is older but you. Your family isn't older. Tasia isn't older. Just you. But you got $1 billion tax-free dollars where you can say, here, here's $20 million. Go ahead and make a killer film. You know what I mean? I'm just throwing that out there. Do you shake hands and take the deal?
No.
$1 billion question.
No. No, not at all. Because time, 10 years is so valuable to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I want my full experience on this planet. I mean, I know the ideas you could take the billion and you can do all these things for other people and stuff like that.
What you could do for the Flintstones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what am I giving up for myself?
Potentially 10 years of your life.
Yeah, and I'm 50 years old. I'm 50 and I plan on looking good when I'm 60.
All right.
But the time and experiences that hell no.
Well, let me give you the analytics. About 7 out of 10 actually take the money. It's always in the spirit of sacrifice, though. It's always in the spirit of sacrifice, right? You change the world. You know, it's like if somebody throws a hand grenade, right there, and you're having dinner and you see the hand grenade, you're like, oh hell no, I'm out of here. And then somebody else might jump on it, and tell their friends to get out of there. And that I'm not saying you're wrong or I'm right. We don't debate. I'm just saying that's kind of how you get one way to look at it. And there was a brother who did that literally, and they changed it in the film and in history and made it a white guy when it was really a brother, and that brother was from Chicago, and I'll try to think of his name. All right, let's move on. The Self Love Time Machine. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Imagine it's your 9th birthday.
Ninth.
You're sitting in Flint, Michigan. We're at the dining room, we're at the kitchen table, your family's there. There's a few of the Flintstones there. They're a lot younger. And then they say, Jamie, make a wish. They probably called you Jamo or Jam Jam. They always got a name for you. Make a wish and blow out the candles, right? So you make a wish and you say, I would love to meet my 50-year-old self, right? You blow out the candles, time freezes for everyone around you, and instantly right now you're sucked from this podcast and you're back in front of you. Me and Brother Wordsmith aren't even aware of it. What message would you deliver to your 9-year-old self?
You are beautiful. You are intelligent. You are a generous, loving human being. You do not have to be bigger. You do not have to be perfect. You do not have to decrease who you are in any way. to be loved, and you can accomplish and you will accomplish anything that you set your heart to. And God will never, ever leave you, even when you're suffering. He will be right there to call on, to guide you, to talk to. So enjoy your life and have fun, and try not to entertain worry.
Love it. Love it. Absolutely love it. And turn down the $1 billion when you get the offer. Don't take the money.
I'll
All
take it.
right. All right. We got a couple yes, no questions. Have you ever seen an alien or a UFO?
No to an alien and maybe to a UFO.
All right. We may have to bring the show back, Self, and with all the people who are saying yes and maybe to the UFO question.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Experiences.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it's consciousness.
I love these questions.
It's consciousness. All right, here we go. Ever experience anything paranormal, any miracles, or anything that you would say, hey, that felt supernatural?
Absolutely. I had an out of body experience. I was in New York City, on one of my dear sister friends, balconies. We were discussing the loss of her father and the loss of my aunt that day. Later that evening, we went out to, we were in Long Island. We were headed to the city on the Long Island Railroad. I got sick and literally was like, I got to get off this train. We jumped off the train and I laid down on the platform. I was so hot and I laid on a cold platform. Her brother came and picked us up, took us home. I started to feel better. It seemed like I had some food poisoning. Went to sleep that night on the top bunk bed. She was on the bottom. She got up to turn the TV off. She turned around. She said she remembers looking at me and I was all twisted up, but my face looked so peaceful that she didn't wake me up. So she just let me stay like that. I, at that moment now, realized I was in a dream, but really it was an out of body experience. I went to meet my aunt who died when I was 12. And I knew I was going to meet her before I met her in a dream state. And we were sitting in Rockefeller Center. I used to spend my summers, my lunches there because I was doing a summer internship at Bank of New York. And I was sitting where I would sit for lunch, and my aunt was coming to meet me. And I knew she was coming to meet me. And I was talking to God and talking to, like, okay, I know what I'm going to ask her. When she sat down, it was like we were having a real conversation. And I asked her, like, how is it up there? And she said, it's fine. And I said, how is Olivia? That's my grandmother who I never met. She said, she's fine. And then she said, do you want to come? And I was like, not now. And she was like, I'm fine. And I need you to give that message for me. I said, okay. And then she walked off. When I woke up, I didn't remember right away. I was on the phone talking to my mom, and then my friend walked in the room and told me how she saw me twisted up, and it just came back. I was like, oh my God, I met Aunt Bonnie last night, and I just remembered it all, and I told my mother. And it was not, I was so conscious. It wasn't in a dream. Like it's like right now, if you told me I'm about to see somebody like Malcolm X, and I get to think a little bit ahead of what I want to ask him, it was like that.
The dream state is where we can communicate with the other side and vice versa. It's a portal. I'm 100% sure of that. 7 out of 10 people we ask that question to say yes, and they tell incredible stories like you just told. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise. Does that surprise you at all, Brother Wordsmith?
Oh, it doesn't at all. Because
How old were you? Oh, go ahead. My bad.
Well, to me, this is like a simulation, and the in between state, not completely dream, but in between is where, our minds communed and our bodies achieve a higher level of
theta, because there's a part of the dream state when you're in theta. There's part of when you sleep, just like when you're like 4, 3, 2 years old. They say had a mind as a child in the Bible. Yeah. And what did she look like? Was she wearing like all white or what?
No, but she looked her best, and we had
Right,
discussed
her
that.
best.
So you see that look. So my aunt used to smoke. When she stopped smoking, she gained all this weight. But she was slim, and she's the one who made the prom dresses.
Right.
Was she?
Yeah. So she had on like
Wow.
this tailored kind of custom suit, and she would have these big blouses with that big bow right here. You know, she was a Mary Kay lady, so she just gorgeous.
And I hear a lot of aunt connectivity. How old were you, did you say?
I was at the Bank of New York, so that would have been my sophomore. So I was like 20, 19 or 20.
And may she rest in heaven. And that's the good news. She told you to deliver it and you did it. All right. You tiptoed around it because you mentioned it earlier. You know what I'm saying?
I went back and talked to her. My family didn't talk about stuff like that. And I went back and talked to her husband. I was scared, but I told him what she said. And I told each of her children. And it changed my relationship with my uncle. And he started sharing all this stuff with me. And it changed my relationship. My cousin Derek, the one boy child, and he and I got super close. And the two my girl cousins I just shared it. They just listened to me and they shared stories with me. But yeah.
All right. All right, man. That's okay.
Amazing.
What's your tombstone message for mankind? Mine is something I don't do daily, but I'm getting better at it. Meditate daily. What is your tombstone message for humanity?
Never stop playing like a child.
Okay. Okay. Magic box question. It's been amended here a little bit. All right. Suppose a person that you couldn't fathom living without, not so much that, but yes, that, but they're suffering. You know, they're in this incredible pain, some rare disease. The doctors don't know what it is. There's nothing the doctors can do. They've seen all the specialists and the blah, blah, and the doctors and the gate, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, Brother Wordsmith right there, he comes over and he says, here's a box. And he says, all you have to do, it's a beautiful box. It's made of Hollywood, acacia, you know. All right. Tells you to push the button on the top of this beautiful box, and your loved one is immediately out of pain and 100% cured. However, you will become afflicted with the exact same illness in exchange. Do you push the button and take the $1 billion?
Right, because it's the same question, right?
Similar. This one involves a lot of pain, though.
And I'm imagining my mom. See, it's tough because my mother would not want me to do that, but
Wouldn't want you to push it.
she wouldn't want me to do that.
And for you to push it, it would destroy her because she can't be without you.
Absolutely. And I thought you were going to say, and then they could be free from the pain and go like Dr. Kevorkian. But you made
well, yeah, that is a paradox. You do bring up a paradox. So do you push it in this scenario? I'll tell you how the original question was framed, but do you push it or not?
I don't want to answer that. Like, honestly, if I'm being real honest, I wouldn't push it.
Okay, fine.
But I don't, it depends on, like, if I'm sitting there watching my mother in pain, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a loop. What's that's tough. It's unfair. All right. What if it's a random person on the other side of the world you'll never meet, never have it could be a little baby, it could be a 99-year-old senior citizen who's been a pillar of the community, it could be some thug, do you push the button?
I'm not pushing it. I'm staying pain free. No. And
Okay.
that sounds selfish, but self-preservation. Yeah.
No, it's not going to be on you. It's going to be on a random person. That's how it was originally.
Yeah.
Right. If you push the button, you
somebody that you don't know, your mom.
We're changing the premise. We're telling you how the original structure of the question was.
Right, your mom will be cool.
Your mom will be cool, and some stranger on the other side of the planet, could be a little infant, could be a senior citizen, could be some stranger, some random.
That's okay. So
it's not you. It's not
right.
you.
I'm sorry. I misunderstood.
Yeah.
So
do you push it then?
You push the button and then the pain goes to that person.
Yeah, to a random person.
Yeah, I'm pushing the button.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, that I'd be lying if I said I would be trying to sound right, and that's not honest. I would push it.
That's fair.
To free my mother, hell yeah.
All right.
Person.
Last question. What is the meaning of life?
What is the meaning of life?
Breathe.
Lessons.
Wow.
That's lessons.
Yeah, she said something earlier about the human imagination and consciousness, the perfection and the imperfection. It's something about that. The fact that, you can never truly hang a picture level on a wall. You can have a level, you can have it, but it's never, if you get to the electronic level, it's never a straight line, right? But it looks so perfect, All right, look, we got a 60-second game. All right. It's called Self Love Art at 60 seconds. Everybody plays it.
We still have like 7 minutes, so I want all the questions.
All right.
Here we go.
All right, hold on.
Yeah, explain the premise. The premise is this or that.
Oh yeah, you're right. Karen, get ready. All right. So, all right, you're gonna get 10 questions.
Okay.
You have to answer them within 60 seconds. You're gonna get a pair. So it might be Spirit Airlines and United First Class. And then you want to say the one that you would prefer out of the pair, right? You could pass. You know what I'm saying? You could pass, but you only get 2 passes. If you pass 3 times out of the first 10, you lose the game. All right? Okay. That's why it's called the self-love art, because there's a pair of things.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Karen. Aliens exist. Aliens are fictitious.
Aliens exist.
She wouldn't know this then. Karen. You would have no idea about this. Okay, we'll move past that. Set her clock back. All right. We have walked on the moon. We have never walked on the moon.
Never walked on the moon.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. or Malcolm X?
Malcolm X.
This earth is flat, firmament, like talked in many ancient books. It's a flat earth, or the earth is round and it's spinning.
Round and spinning.
Right. Anarchy or tyranny? Anarchy.
Pass.
All right. It's a good use of the past here, Jim. Would you agree, Brother Wordsmith? Savvy.
Absolutely.
Yes. All right. Pookie or Ray Ray, whatever you guys are calling them in Flint. Everybody's got them in the families. Little cousin just can't. Don't know why.
Ray.
No, we're not choosing between Pookie and Ray Ray.
Oh, okay.
I'm describing Pookie or Ray Ray, whatever you want to call him. Just can't get everything right. Everybody's praying for him and stuff. He lives in the grandmother's basement. He's always getting in trouble, and guys are coming around looking for him. He did what? Pookie, you got to get out of here. Anyway, Pookie or the oath-breaking member of law enforcement who does such things like what happened to rest his soul, Eric Garner.
Pookie.
Okay, she was right, and she said Ray Ray.
All day.
Kamala, went to your alma mater, Harris. Michelle Obama.
Michelle.
Wow. Are we living in a simulation, as Brother Wordsmith indicated his belief earlier in the show? Or is this base reality?
Pass.
This is your last question. No more passes. B.I.G. or Tupac?
Tupac.
All right. Don't go nowhere. We got 4 bonus questions. You only get 1 pass. Because 4 bonus questions.
Okay, I was going to show y'all something.
Hold on. Focus on the game, then show us.
All right.
Flint, Michigan. Or the Bay Area?
Flint.
Okay, she didn't hesitate there. That was easy.
At all.
Oh.
All right. Triple bonus. Would you rather have $15 million tax-free right into your personal Venmo account, or your soulmate knocks on the door in the morning and it's your bona fide soulmate? God told you that night in a dream and you were sure and told you exactly what this person would look like and was wearing. Which one are you going with?
Soulmate.
Okay. Quadruple bonus. Viola Davis or Angela Bassett?
Viola.
Last question. Mega bonus. Unprecedented. She wouldn't know this either, Jim, so we got to come up with something for out here she might know. All right. In and Out or Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles?
In and Out.
Fair. All right, that's a pass. Great job. Welcome to the Give Back Gang.
Super pass, and she did extra bonus and all of that. So.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was good. Some of them were set up, and I got to talk to Karen. Karen works behind the scenes when she's not calling the cops on people like Eric Garner. She's wondering, like, who's Karen?
Right.
Yeah. So,
I want to show y'all, right? Like.
Yes, well, I saw that.
Oh yeah. Give her a close up, Karen.
Absolutely. I'm not Karen, but
I love Biggie too, right?
Yeah.
But if you make me choose, I Pac.
Which was it? Was it Dear Mama? Was it Keep Your Head Up? Because Pac used to, he used to sing, and he's from the Bay Area. What is it? What is it that makes you?
And I met Pac. I hung out with Pac. Like, it's his charisma, which is what I felt in the music. You know what I mean? Like, most people would say that Biggie was a better lyricist, but when it comes to delivery, rhythm, voice, the tone in the voice, and what was saying in terms of motivation, for me, it's Pac all day.
Pac.
Yeah.
You remember anything of that? Your interaction with him? You remember anything about him?
Absolutely. So Pac had a song with MC Breed from Flint, rest in peace.
Yeah. Was it?
Gotta get
Ain't
mine.
no future in your front.
Ain't no future in your front is the classic. Gotta get mine. Gotta get yours.
Yeah, that's it. That was my cut. I used to ride around with that blaring in the radio.
But it was a
blaring.
Breed had that rhythm. He could flow, ride the beat.
Yeah.
So they had a concert at the Windmill Place, and everybody was there. And
you gotta remember High Yellow was in too back then. So.
It was.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I went, and it was this after it was over, everybody was trying to figure out what's next. And you know, this brother that was part of his crew, actually, it's so weird because he called himself Mac 10, but it's not the Mac 10 that was with Cube. It looked totally different. But this brother, you know, he tried to holler at me, and so that's how we phrased it back then, right? And so he was like, "Hey, the one hotel that was across from the windmill, that's where everybody was going." He was like, "Come over to the hotel, and this is my pager, page me, and I'm gonna come get you and my friend Shonda to bring us up to where they were kicking it." So we did all that, and she and I agreed to go. So we went, and once we got upstairs, they had like a whole floor in the I think it's called the Hampton Inn now, but at the time it was like a Holiday Inn or something. And so we walk in the room, the doors were all open. It was like that. And my cousin who lives with me and her friends were in there. So it was like my cousin Tamika, Neil, it was like 5 people already in there. And then Shonda and I walk in. And it was Pac and his homeboy. His name was Calvin. And it's and the dude that I met, but that guy was kind of in and out, like almost like his assignment was to bring girls up there. And so it was the winter time, so you know we're in there, everybody's got coats, you know, it's like that. And Pac was just that Pac energy, walking around the room and talking to everybody. And then we sat and talked to him for a while.
Was he wearing a bandana? Did he have a blunt behind his ear?
No, nope.
Okay.
And he was just talking to us, and it was like you know, he was just cool. Like I don't remember the conversation, but I talked to him a lot about regular. He just felt regular, you know. And so we talked for a long time, all of us. He was cool to all of us. My cousin's friend Neil was super funny. So after it was like probably about an hour, he was like, man, he stood up and he was like, look, I ain't gonna lie, y'all cool as hell. Y'all cool as hell, but it's time to get butt booty naked. That's what he said. And we looking at each other, and then he and his boy dropped their jeans, right?
Oh, wow.
And they dropped their jeans, and they both had on the exact same boxers. I remember they was brown with like paisley, like them old
with that Suge Knight's face on it.
This was before that. So it had like, it was like
big up Suge Knight.
Those boxers my cousins would wear in the house that was like long and silky looking and stuff.
Yeah.
And my cousin's friend Neil, she was like, damn, look at your skinny ass legs, to Pac. And he started laughing because that's the kind of energy that was in the room. And he just laughed. And he was like, I mean, what's up? You know, doing all that. We looking at each other like we finna go. And so then me and Shonda was like, and my cousin and her friends was like, well, y'all cool, but we out. And he was like, all right, y'all cool, but y'all got to go, get the getting. And he was real funny about it, like you know, Martin on the show, not even that mean. And we left. And that was the end of it. And that guy, me and that guy didn't stay connected. And this is what I remember. So when he got accused of rape, for me, and I remember on BET, they advertised like he was in jail and you could write him. And I actually wrote him a letter, and I didn't mail it. I don't know. It's not because wasn't going to. I don't know. I found that letter later. I don't know where it is now. But I felt like, based on my experience, I was like, he did not rape that girl. Like, I just felt like he was so open, and like, you know, even with us, it was just it was easy to say, no, I'm out, you know, like and in the circumstances of that situation, and they on the floor in the club, I'm like, come on, man. And then he told the story. I ended up hearing the story later and what possibly could have happened and all of that. But I wanted to write and tell him, like, you treated us real cool, and I support you. So when Jada Pinkett and Jasmine Guy supported him, I was happy about that, you know. But that's how I felt. And yeah, so Pac was and I think he's a talented actor and he had a lot to offer. And I wish, he would have made some different choices. When he came out with Hit 'Em Up, I was not, that was the turning point for me. I'll say this, as a hip hop head and someone who, wrote down rhymes and listened to the radio and record, when I heard Hit 'Em Up at the end and the venom in that song, I did it startled me. I remember where I was in LA when I heard it, and I remember like I was like, nah, like I just hated it. I didn't like the song. I don't like the song, and you can feel how angry he was. And to me, like battle rap, that's what I cite as the place, because it was on such a big scale, where things turn. So I'm not a fan, like, battle rap for me when I grew up was about who had the best skills and who could really like freestyle and flow, and they started doing all this personal stuff that is not like it. To me, it's not witty. You're not even being witty because you're not using what's in front of you. Like if you can flow off the dome, that was given the highest credit, and you could take what's in the room or take little knowledge or given knowledge that you had. But when people start going too crazy with it, I'm not a fan of that at all. This whole Kendrick and I love Kendrick and I like Drake, and stylistically, I prefer. There was a point where I preferred Kendrick, but I don't like all of this. I don't like all of this. Like to me, I still see us being pitted against one another. And it's like, y'all should be smarter than that. Like, like J. Cole, when he was like, yo, I'm out. I'm like, I love J. Cole. Like, oh, how dope is he? He didn't take the money to bait. He did do this just beautiful, man. I love him. And you can diss people in ways, and I know things change and stuff like that. We got more access to information. But when it starts getting like malicious and you recording that and that's in the ethers forever, like I'm not with, I ain't never been with any of that type of, I tap out. When it gets to that point, I'm not, I tap out, the beat, they not like us and, all that, it's beautiful. And seeing Kendrick at the Super Bowl, I love all that. I hate all the other stuff in regard to Drake and I don't like none of that. Not a
Yeah,
fan.
something you said about Pac, like his interaction with y'all, kind of remind me of something Tory said right after he passed. Like Pac knew he wasn't gonna be here long. Like the way he moved, the way he lived his life, like hey, hey the girls, hey, yeah, y'all cool. All right, this is gonna go down. Oh,
Yeah.
drop my drawers. I mean, drop my
Right.
pants.
Ain't gonna go down. Okay.
I mean, y'all gotta go, but that's
Yep.
not assault. I mean, well,
Right.
he could have kept his pants
Not.
on. But
It's not. It was, look, women have a part in all this too. Like there's a thing, rape has all these different definitions now, and I get it. But for me, Black men have been so respectful to me. And I just don't have the experience of saying no and it not being honored. I don't have that. I can't speak for the people. I know that people have a different experience. Like I know that it's some vicious ass people out here and some men that, um, are out are I can't stand that. Like the imagining being raped, it's gotta be horrendous. But I have, in my time, in my experience, I've been very blessed. Or that's just really what it is. They take the few and magnify it and make it seem a particular way, just like in all other aspects of life.
yeah, I think you were talking about responsibility. Like, yeah, it's tough to touch on, but
It is because
yeah,
I have female friends that have been raped, and I would never like deny their experience or not feel compassion or empathetic toward their experience because it's got to be horrific. I can just say in my experience, I really have had some beautiful brothers who have honored where I want to go and where I don't want to go. And I'm talking from, street dudes to educated brothers, like from industry to non-industry. I mean, because you date who you around or like mind who you have a similar mindset with. And so yeah, I don't, and again with Pac, I understood, that was the time with groupies everywhere and the girls in the videos and all that stuff. But like I said, we had on, jeans and boots and coats. It's Flint, Michigan. Y'all know the code. It wasn't like,
right,
we didn't go in the hotel.
right,
We used to have hotel parties. Remember, like you had a
yeah.
hotel party. It wasn't
Yeah,
like,
I know what you're saying. You got a long
yeah.
coat on, everything. You wasn't in there with a
And the
like,
doors are open and you going with your friend. Like
yeah,
if
yeah,
they would have said Shonda can't come up, then peace. Nice knowing y'all for a
yeah,
moment.
yeah.
Right. And my cousin was with her friends, right? It wasn't like, I'm going up in this room and, nah, no, not that's not how we got down. Back in my day, it was a negative to be a hoe. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like that was not, like what we see now in Instagram and the turn your ass
Ding
to the
ding ding
camera
ding ding ding.
and have you can see your inner workings. Like, that was not a positive. Dudes were not like, they like the good girl. You know what I'm saying? You do whatever behind closed doors. So that was a negative. It was you would if you would have came out and said, I'm a stripper and I'm doing all, they would have dissed you. You know what I'm saying? Like Lauryn Hill and Ladybug and Queen Latifah and MC Light and Isis and Moni Love and like Yo Yo, like those are the people that I grew up with in hip hop, right? So they would diss a dude if he was, Queen Latifah's song, Who You Calling a Bitch? Like that was a hit. That's how we felt. I still don't like a dude to refer to me that way. I don't like women to refer to me that way. Now you got the younger generation that's like 10 years under me and they call each other bitches all the time and it's endearing to them. I'm not comfortable with it. I mean, I'm not like a prude where I know context. If somebody's like, girl, you a bad bitch, I'm like, okay, I can receive that. Like, so I get it. You gotta evolve. But it's not like we not gonna.
You a bad pussy. Hey,
Yeah,
bro,
no,
you a bad pussy.
no, and
You know what I'm
I don't
saying?
like
Like,
that word. Like
No.
that's
I
what I'm
have,
saying.
Like,
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like no, that was not, yeah, when they came out with WAP, as a person, a female hip hop that likes hip hop, um, and knowing the changing of the times and all that, um,
Well, it's an attack on the copper colored family.
yeah, and
So
that
they
song, like, I was like, what? Like, I would never purchase that song. I'm not purchasing it. I can't put my money right there. I
so
don't, yeah.
what the music industry has done, or the power that be, through hip hop, which was, everything you described, culturally forward, right? Culturally holistic. What they did was first they attacked the men, right? With you're gonna be drug dealers, you're gonna be gangsters, you're gonna go to jail, you're gonna get out, you're gonna do it again, and then now they became drug users. You're gonna use the drugs, you're gonna pop the pills, you're gonna be gangsters, you're gonna go to jail. So then once they got the men weakened, right? Fathers out of the home for various things, the young girls can run around and listen to anything without having a man there to say,
blow that up.
Yeah, turn that off. Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
You ain't going out here looking like that.
Yeah, I'm not with it. I work with young people every day and I see, I see what it is. So, but I'll be talking to y'all forever and I'm late. I gotta.
Yeah, we appreciate you doing this, and
Thank you
go
so
ahead.
much.
Maybe tell people how they can get in contact with you,
Yes.
or when they can see the film and everything.
Okay, thank you so much. Please follow me on Instagram at Jamie Burton Oare. And my name is spelled JamieBurt as in Tom Onoare, or at Jomaja Films, JOMAJA Films. That's where you'll get the information on Breathe when it's screening, when it becomes available through distribution. So in the meantime, in between time, you can also go to jomajafilms.com and watch my previous work. You can rent my documentary on soul line dancing. Everybody's looking at Boots on the Ground, where I did a documentary on the history of soul line dancing through the eyes of James and Jackie Rice. And you can check out my first feature called Doing the LA Thing, about making it in Hollywood, and my short film, The Bully. So I would love for you to check my work out and reach out and touch, share your comments. And thank you so much. It's been an honor to be here. And I really like the communication, the questions. It's been my honor to be asked to be on your show. Thank you.
And keep going. We really appreciate you doing this.
Absolutely. We know you're growing.
Thank you. Thank you, Brother Nine and Brother Tori. This is beautiful. Thank you. Self-love.
That's it. Peace and blessings. So we appreciate you a whole lot. And she did a great job on this show, but a better job on Breathe. Y'all check it out.
Please do. Incorporate it and show it to the world. Explore and expand.
100%. R.I.P. Eric Garner.
Yeah.
Magnificent, huh, bro?
Oh. Ooh. Like beautiful energy and imagery and understanding of expansion.
Yeah, man. Time ain't long, essentially. You know what I mean? Gotta have these conversations.
Yes.
Breathe, you guys. A film on Eric Garner with producer Jamie, Burton, Oare, filmmakers, and we touched on some human consciousness out there. So really appreciate her stepping in and doing this. 100%. That was fantastic. As we wrap up this episode of the Self Love Show, we hope you're leaving with a renewed sense of connection to the stories we tell, the people we honor, and the consciousness we all share. Breathe is more than a film. It's a call to action, a heartfelt reminder of the power of art to hold us accountable, inspire change, and deepen our understanding of justice and humanity. It challenges us to pause, reflect, and engage with the world around us in more meaningful ways. Producer Jamie Burton Oare's journey has illuminated the resilience and creativity of Black filmmakers who continue to redefine narratives and uplift voices that have long been marginalized. Her work on Breathe exemplifies how storytelling can be both deeply personal and profoundly universal, urging us to acknowledge shared pain and collective hope. But let this conversation be more than a passive listening experience. Allow the themes we've explored, the courage to create, the responsibility to witness, and the call to consciousness to ripple into your own lives. How can you use your unique gifts, your breaths, to contribute to a world that's more empathetic, just, and aware? Thank you for joining us in this exploration of art, social justice, and human consciousness. Until next time, remember to breathe extremely deeply, love fiercely, and never underestimate the transformative power of your storytelling. Stay curious, stay informed, stay aware, stay engaged, but most importantly, stay true to self. Also, love yourself and others around you deeply. Remember, ask not what our culture can do for you, but what you can do for our culture. Silence is violence, and continue to question everything. The Self Love Show ain't Kansas, Toto. Peer down those rabbit holes, but do your own research. Use caution and discernment, because sometimes when you stare into that abyss, the abyss is going to stare right back at you. Peace, self-love, honor, and respect. Midwest Festivals, bro.
Yes, y'all. Don't stop. Man, the House Music Festival Extreme goes on, and it's going up, up, up into the atmosphere. It's going levels that you can't see here. Got to be there.
It's an extravaganza.
Oh my goodness, it's
extravaganza. And he put the link into the chat. You guys click on it, support, All right, bro. We did have a riddle. Let me see here. We did have a riddle. Okay. I tell stories through a lens of struggles, triumphs. What's going on here? You know what? I don't know. Okay. I tell stories through a lens of struggles, triumphs, and amends. From history's pain to future's bright, my work sheds truth and sparks the light. Who am I? Brother Wordsmith?
A filmmaker.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll give you that. Copper-colored filmmaker. But filmmakers. Copper-colored.
The original.
Yeah, I tell stories through a lens of struggles, triumphs, and amends. From history's pain to future's bright. See. That's why I'll give you full credit. My work sheds truth and sparks the fight. Who am I? Yeah. Okay, we'll give you that. Not gonna put you in the retarded classes. I don't even think we can say retarded anymore. Can we? I think you can in a film. All right.
Well, I mean, if you don't mean the intellectual, the people that don't have the whole thing. If you're talking about a regular person, I think you should be able to call them retarded if they not living up to what a normal person could think or whatever. And not the people that are intellectually challenged. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because those people are actually retarded. Those people have, I don't know if I want to say that. So
that's facts. That is facts, bro. What's that?
I said, yeah.
Yeah, well, we got a poll question, and then I don't want to leave people hanging on the poll question. All right, they're grading the Bears off-season moves. Okay. I don't think I ever put in the chat, my bad. But all right. 0 said other, 0% gave the off-season moves a C. So that's good for Ryan Pose. 25% said it's an A. 75% went with B. What grade are you giving the organization? That includes, the free agent moves, the trades, and everything.
Yeah, I wasn't part of the poll. I didn't get involved, so it's gonna change. But it's hard to judge, but just from the outlook and what's going on. I'm gonna say an A, but I reserve the right to really judge down the line when I see the results.
Of course, because you got to factor in they added Ben Johnson, like everybody's giving Ben Johnson the
Ben
credit.
Johnson
but they added
these three
correct,
offensive linemen, like
correct.
Shit,
The
that's
defensive tackle,
man,
all those veteran coaches,
lots of
football knowledge in the building.
Man, offensive line that shouldn't be porous like we had last season.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and a quarterback that has got over him. Hopefully he's gotten over himself.
I think so.
That's all we need him to do. Otherwise, he'll be fine. But you don't want him to get over himself too much. Because you see, I think that helps him at the end of halves and at the end of
games. If he does, then he's gonna have the polish on again.
Yeah, we'll pull the polish back out. All right, kid, you were right. All right, well, I don't know what's going on. We're gonna keep it moving. All right. All right, next week we'll let you know what we're coming with. I don't know if we have anything in mind here. No? All right.
Right off the top.
Yeah. Maybe see if we can get Midwest Fest in here or something.
Yeah, we need to do that. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm not saying, but maybe, But we'll let you guys know.
I told them it's going to be on deck because, hey, y'all don't know Midwest Festival presents Ancestor Echoes. And it's such an amazing event. Like, you got to be there to experience it. Words can't quite convey what the feeling or frequency of the point on the planet where we at is. Whew. The essence, we have the perfect sound system with the best so-called DJs. I call them the magicians of the tables or whatever they are, and the whole thing.
Yeah. Get with it. Link's in the chat. Link is in the chat. And then Sunday, Spolly Tricks.
Oh boy, they get busy.
Yeah. We was going in last week. We went in on Sunday, and we intend to do much the same. Somebody was like, man, they left a comment. Great show. Never seen anybody go so hard on Caleb, though. Me and Ace, we be on this bump. You know what I mean? But we acknowledge he's probably the best quarterback we've ever had. But you can still be on his bum. I mean, come on, you guys are kidding me? I told Diesel Caleb could come in your dining room as soon as you're about to put that steak in your mouth and fart right in your face. Where's the offensive line's fault? You know what I mean? That's not the offensive line's fault. Yeah.
You already know how I feel out there about that guy. He's out there. I mean, and so now there better be a sense of, okay, I'm set. I'm looking, and if that shit break down, I'm gone.
There will be, or he'll be on the bench. You don't think Johnson's about to come in and be drop dead gorgeous and watch any of that all season?
No, he's going to build everything around this guy. And if he can't do what he loves and wants, then he's going to be out of there.
Yeah, he's going to be out of there. He's drop dead gorgeous. He's the smartest guy since Peyton, over Sean Payton. That's what they're telling me. He's the smartest guy in the world.
So, yeah.
Him, what's the Lakers coach name?
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. And then Elon Musk. He's the smartest people.
JJ Redick.
Yeah, JJ Redick.
Greatest college players ever.
Yeah.
Not basketball players ever, college players ever.
Oh yeah, college players. Yeah.
Shit.
It's a great basketball man.
He still was good, and he was very good in his role in pro. I just wanted to say that though.
Yeah, I mean, big ups to him. He knows the game. I'm just, overall.
Yeah, but this is first year coaching, right?
Yeah. All right.
Had he coached any? Did he coach his sons? Did he coach anybody? I think this might be his first year coaching.
Yeah, I don't know. He's a jester. All right. That brings me to my Favorite.
Leitner. Oh, Leitner. He's
Personal
like
favorite part of the
Michael
whole
Jordan.
And that's Wordsmith's final words out there, out there, out there, out there.
Yeah. Man. It's the scientific. Paint pictures like words, like hieroglyphics. I'm a mythic. Not chasing percentage, don't care what you think. I'm gonna be honest all the time. And never ever blink. We had a great one. Expand the consciousness. Feel it. Hear it. Know it exists. We all should be pissed that everybody don't hear about this. All of y'all miss. But it's growing into an external bliss. Eternal hit. Not really a miss. Cause you get put in the midst of those who have chosen the gift. TATN, expand consciousness. The Self Luv Show. It's a universal gift. The ship that shifts. God bless him. Straight up lessons manifesting. So explore your inner mind so you can deal with this simulation and intertwine what you want to happen. Not all that bullshit you hear in your mind, why it can't. TATN. We ain't with that fate. We demonstrate why we all can elevate past the vision of these demons that's insistent they controlling our existence. But they need us to bow down. Never will. Don't know how. Because our line been here since before they came. And after they're gone, we still gonna reign. That's all I need to explain. We had an amazing artist and a gift, and support her with all of your gifts. Everyone that helped her, that she exposed to us, let us put into them. In the arts we trust. Words.
Words. Y'all heard him. Y'all heard him. Karen, you heard him? You heard he said words. Here, Jim.
No respect.
Do you think?
Time is now, my people. We must stand together.
I will eat the right foods that I grow myself. Cause the wrong way stole my health. I'm glad to be me now and nobody else. Man, know thyself. I will eat the right foods that I grow myself. Cause the wrong way stole my health. I'm glad to be me now and nobody else. Yo, bullets. In the code and all the scriptures, potions and elixirs. Come on, Karen. Bullets, a boomerang.
Stand your ground.
Murder is suicide.
Yeah, well, an eye for an eye.
Silence is violence.
See something, say something.
You want to be a slave? Vibrate greed. Ego. Fear. That's how they make you a slave. You end up in prison.
Okay. As I know for sure, charity plus humility times love is freedom.
That's how you get out. Do not answer questions.
Question everything.
We've got two who can see. Fear is cap. It's an illusion.
Yeah. Vibrate love.
See if you can hear it. You never die when you breathe in the Holy Spirit. Swine ain't divine, the people they won't go near it. Salad bar, spinning at your average hard here to bring you back to God. Said it just like Master Far sent you. The end ain't always happy. And forgiveness is love's supreme vibration.
So, do something charitable for a so-called enemy and end a beef.
Healthy people, heal thy people. That's a commandment.
Yeah, because hurt people, for sure, gonna try to hurt people.
Free Larry Hoover, man, like Big Meech.
Free Jeff Floyd.
Free all the guys, man.
Prison to slavery.
Check that 13th Amendment if you don't believe them. And be Yah. Walk on water.
Man. Move mountains.
Oh, Mountain Dew.
Yes, sir. Week by week, that mountain is getting weak. It's moving. Look at it.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Being the one is just like being in love. No one can tell you you're in love, you just know it. Through and through. Balls to bones.
Still got them, bro?
Got mine.
Same, man. Stop snitching on y'allself. Take school seriously.
Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.